It's the mere search for Uhuru. Make sure you guys hit that like button as you come to the chat room. Also, make sure you subscribe if you are new to the platform. Also, make sure you go to dynastymirror.com to stay up on current events and news and what I'm doing. So, as you guys know, well, some of you guys might not know, Amber Guyger has been found guilty of murder. If you guys aren't familiar with the case, Amber Guyger is the white female cop who mistakenly thought that Botham Jean, who is the victim, she thought that his apartment was her apartment, and she walked into the wrong apartment, which was his apartment, and murdered him. Now, like I've said before, Darius Smith, I'm going to get to that. Like I said before, I believe there's definitely more to that. Like, it's just the story's not adding up. It makes absolutely no sense. So there's more to it. But with that being said, she was found guilty. Now, I want to reference a case. All right, I brought this up before. We spoke about this case before on this platform, and that is the Akai Gurley Peter Liang case. I'm going to read this article from the New York Times. Officer Peter Liang convicted in fatal shooting of Akai Gurley in Brooklyn. A jury in Brooklyn convicted Officer Peter Liang of manslaughter in the shooting of Akai Gurley in the stairwell of the housing project in 2014. A New York City police officer was convicted of manslaughter on Thursday for killing an unarmed man who was hit by a ricocheting bullet fired from the officer's gun in the stairwell of a Brooklyn housing project in a case that highlighted concerns over police accountability. The officer, Peter Liang, and his partner were conducting a so-called vertical patrol on November 20th, 2014, inside Louis H. Pink houses in the East New York neighborhood. At one point, Officer Liang opened a door into an unlighted stairwell and his gun went off. The bullet glanced off a wall and hit Akai Gurley, 28, who was walking down the stairs with his girlfriend, and pierced his heart. Mr. Liang, a rookie officer who had graduated from the police academy the year before the shooting, was also found guilty of official misconduct for failing to help Mr. Gurley as he lay. Sounds like what Amber did. For failing to help Mr. Gurley as he lay on a fifth floor landing. Mr. Gurley's girlfriend, Melissa Butler, had testified that while she knelt in a pool of his blood trying to rescue him, the officer stopped briefly but did not help before proceeding down the stairs. A dead man tells no tales. They all have the same mentality. The verdict delivered in state Supreme Court in Brooklyn comes amid a national debate on the policing of black neighborhoods after a string of killings of unarmed black men by police officers. And the jury's decision is a rare instance in which a police officer was convicted of killing someone in the line of duty. The jury deliberated a little more than 2 days before reaching a verdict. The police department said soon after the verdict that it had fired Officer Liang. After hearing the verdict, Officer Liang bowed his head and sank his face into his hands. You see how these police officers, they pretend like they're the victims. So they go and kill and murder somebody, but then they want to act as if they're the victims and not the person they killed. Officer Liang bowed his head and sank his face into his hands. His lawyer placed a hand on the officer's back. The officer left the courthouse without speaking to reporters. Clearly, it's a terrible tragedy. Mr. Gurley died, said one of Officer Liang's lawyers, Robert E. Brown, who had described the shooting as a freakish accident, whatever. My client feels terrible about it, but what he did wasn't a crime. Kind of sounds like the same rationale and language coming from, and rhetoric coming from some police in the Amber Guyger trial. The jury's decision elicited tears from Mr. Gurley's family and friends. They huddled in a group embrace, crying, swaying, and offering words of relief and thanks. Mr. Liang, 28, faces up to 15 years in prison. 15 years in prison, and we're going to get to that, on the second-degree manslaughter charge when he is sentenced on April 14th. And we're going to get to the sentencing here in a second. Most of the jurors left the courtroom quickly, but one juror who declined to give his name said in a brief interview that the decision had been very, very, very difficult. I've got to face my family. Half of them are cops, he added. Oh, come on, get out of here. So a cop kills somebody, and you're worried about facing your family because half of them are cops. Okay. So guys, let me now, here we go. Let me read this part. The Brooklyn District Attorney, Ken Thompson, told reporters that as the verdict was read, he turned to Sylvia Palmer, Mr. Gurley's mother, and whispered, "I'm sorry." No, you're not, Ken Thompson. I'm going to tell you why he wasn't sorry here in a second. I told his mother, "I'm sorry," he said. "I'm sorry we were in that courtroom at that point." Mr. Thompson made it clear that the conviction was in no way a conviction of the New York City Police Department. Yeah, whatever. What we are saying and what we said in this case is that we have to have police officers who follow the training they're given, he added. Okay, let's get to the sentencing portion. All right, and remember that name, Ken Thompson. I want you guys to remember that name, Ken Thompson, okay? Remember that name. Here we go. This is in the NY Daily News. Akai Gurley's family. So the same family that Ken Thompson apologized to, Akai Gurley's family outraged after Brooklyn DA Kenneth Thompson, who's a black man, that's important, because the DA in the Amber Guyger case is black as well in Dallas. I know people are yelling, "Black girl magic, black girl magic." Well, let's see how this sentencing plays out. Akai Gurley's family outraged after Brooklyn DA Kenneth Thompson recommends house arrest, no jail time for ex-NYPD cop Peter Liang. So Kenneth Thompson apologizes to the family, then recommends house arrest. Anguished relatives lashed out Wednesday when Brooklyn District Attorney Kenneth Thompson said the cop who killed Akai Gurley shouldn't spend so much as a day in prison. The frustrated family was further infuriated that Thompson didn't even have the courtesy to tell them he was recommending that a judge give fire cop Peter Liang only 500, this is a joke, only 500 hours of community service, 5 years of probation, and 6 months of home confinement. A jury convicted Liang of manslaughter last month for the November 2014 shooting of Gurley in a darkened pink houses stairwell in East New York. "I call it a modern-day lynching," said Gurley aunt Hortensia Peterson. Says Gurley's aunt Hortensia Peterson. "It's like killing a guy over and over again." All right, so Kenneth Thompson, and I know we're always bragging about black girl magic. Oh, this black man becomes the first in this field. You know, so Ken Thompson, a black New York DA, gave Peter Liang 5 years probation. Yeah, exactly. There's no need. We can't celebrate. You can't celebrate yet. Anything less of the death penalty or life in prison is not a win. Period. Anything less Hey, Brent Montgomery, if you want to call in, Brent Montgomery, you live in Dallas. Here's my email. Shoot me email. I'm not mad at Black Girl Magic because Kenneth Thompson was a man. But I'm just saying, a lot of you guys are celebrating prematurely. She's found guilty, but she hasn't been sentenced yet. Yeah, he died. Kenneth Thompson died right after that. That's correct. Again, let's not get too excited. Let's not, have the cookout. Let's not start celebrating. This is not a win. Again, she hasn't been sentenced yet. She was found guilty, but she hasn't been sentenced yet. And I needed to point that out. We will find out in 10 minutes. She can get up to 99 years. So they're doing the sentencing now? Yeah, right. So this wasn't a death penalty case. So, okay, you're correct. Anything less than life in prison is not a win. She needs to be buried under the prison. That don't mean nothing. I mean, say she goes to jail. Oh, the sentencing's at 1 o'clock. Oh, wow. Say she goes to jail, gets out in 3 years. You know how these police departments are. Some police department will take her right at the street. Okay, sentencing's at 1 o'clock. Okay, so this is going to be interesting. In fact, let's see if we can watch this live together. I know they've been streaming the case live on YouTube. Let's see if we can catch it live. Okay, I'm not getting any sound. I'm not getting any sound for some reason. Hold on 1 second. Let me check the sound. But guys, don't celebrate. Not yet. Not yet. Okay, that's the problem. That's why there's no sound. There we go. Now we got sound.
That murder had on Mr. John's family, and what their family had to go through. You'll hear a lot of sympathy.
No, you guys can hear me, but the sound for some reason from the.
I would expect the prosecution's officer board to rehash some of the key evidence and make some kind of argument that this wasn't just a tragedy; it was preventable, and even point out some of Ms. Guyger's. What her actions after the shooting, some of the stuff that might show her maybe she didn't have a lot of sympathy, maybe she just kind of went on with her life, that kind of thing, to get the jury to a point where they could come back with a heavy sentence. And Ms. Guyger will also have the opportunity to present evidence, most likely from maybe her family, co-workers, people who have served with her, to say, that's not my daughter, that's not my friend, that she's not like that.
Do you think we'll hear from Amber Guyger again?
I wouldn't be shocked. At this phase of the trial. She'll get up there and say, I disagree with the verdict, but I respect it, and have mercy on me because this being a police officer was my dream, and so on and so on. You'll hear things like that. So I think she needs to get up there again and do a better job of maybe having an emotional connection with the jury. Excuse me, with the jury.
We've had two other officers, Farmers Branch officer Ken Johnson, who was sentenced to 10 years for chasing down a teen burglar and shooting and killing him. We also had Roy Oliver, who shot into a fleeing car, and he got 15 years. Ken Johnson again got 10. Any thoughts on what's going to be going into the jury's determination of what her sentence should be?
Yeah, well, the jury won't be able to compare. It won't be appropriate for them to compare. Well, that officer got that amount of years for that case. They won't be able to compare any of that. So they'll have to just take these facts and make a decision of 5 to 99 or life. But if those cases are kind of any guide for those of us watching about how jurors see the balance between what police officers do and the situations that they're in, that those sentences might be a guide of what might happen here.
But is the fact that they found her guilty of murder an indicator that this could be harsher?
It could be. It could be. I think they certainly did not trust her enough to go with her mistake of fact story, and so if some of it may depend on how the jurors viewed that. If it was, well, that's not really applicable here, or did they feel like she was trying to get one over on them to get an acquittal? It's really hard to know, but I think the jury they'll have a lot of factors to consider. Again, it's very much like the guilt innocence.
And it's important to know that she cannot get probation.
Very important to know that she cannot get probation from the jury. From the jury. And whatever sentence she gets, she'll have to serve either half of that or a minimum of 30 years, whichever is less.
And explain to people what the rules would be in terms of her being out on an appeal.
So if the jury comes back with a sentence of 10 years or less, she'll be eligible to appeal to the judge for what we call an appellate bond. She'll notify the judge, hey judge, I'm going to appeal my guilty verdict, and I would like to be out of prison while I wait the decision of the appellate court. If the jury comes back with 11 years or higher, then she won't be eligible to appeal to the judge for that, and she'll have to wait out her appeal in prison.
Any thoughts on how long you would expect the punishment phase to last?
It's going to go quicker for sure. I'm assuming she doesn't have any type of criminal record. I'll be interested to see.
Don't matter. She needs to be in jail for life.
If barring any of that, then it's basically, what effect did this crime have on the victim's family, on her family, and how she's going to
10 years. Nah, she needs longer than 10 years.
We saw her mother.
Because if she gets 10 years, she only has to serve 5.
Pretty good chance that we'll hear from Amber Guyger's mother.
Yeah, I was a little surprised that we didn't hear from one of them in the guilt innocence phase. I would be even more shocked if we don't hear from a family member, a friend, a coworker, somebody who can say Amber Guyger is not the person that the prosecution said.
No, we can't celebrate yet, Gene family. Can't celebrate yet.
Closing statements. It's kind of like its own little mini trial.
That's right. It's very much a mini trial. You'll hear all the same procedures will be followed again. Opening statement.
Can't celebrate yet.
Gets to go first, present their evidence. Then defense gets to put on their evidence. Then we'll have closing arguments. Then another jury charge. The jury goes back and begins deliberating. And so it's very much a mini trial.
Okay. Thank you so much, Judge Conyers. I'll send it back to Kara.
Great insight. Thank you, Tanya. We appreciate it. So again, they will continue that legal analysis, and they'll continue to dissect what the jury comes down with as far as the sentencing phase is concerned. That will be streaming live on our Facebook page, so make sure you join us for that. Tanya has been doing that with expert legal analysis all week long. We're also going to continue to stay on.
You guys, how much time do you think she's going to get? People who are watching the channel, how much time do you think she's going to get?
I mentioned Facebook as well, and then we'll be back on here today at 4 o'clock. But again, if you have just tuned into midday, we understand Amber Guyger found guilty of murder in the shooting death of both of John. We have people inside the courtroom, outside the courthouse that are getting reaction, and we do anticipate that sentencing phase will start at 1 o'clock after a long recess, and that's when, as you heard Tanya mention.
You know what? It's probably 1 o'clock. It's probably 1 o'clock Dallas time. So that'll be 2 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. So let me, yeah, okay. It's probably 1 o'clock. Yeah, it's probably 1 o'clock. I just thought about that. Yeah, so the sentencing is probably 1 o'clock Central Time. Yeah. Oh, it's 1 o'clock Eastern Standard Time? Well, they're in Dallas. So it's 12 o'clock their time then. Because this was a local station. Yeah, it's 2 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. Yeah. So we gotta check back in at 2. Okay, Aunt Will, people in Dallas, if you want to call in, send me an email because I like to know what's going on the streets. People in Dallas, send me an email so I can get an idea of what's going on in Dallas right now in regards to this case. I'd like to know. But like I said, it is not a win. It is not a win until we find out what the sentencing is. You know, if she gets 50 years, I could live with that. If she gets 50 years, I can live with that. I'll be okay with 50 years. No, I won't, because she gets 50, she probably only has to spend, she will probably only have to serve 25, so no. She needs life in prison, period. Who said 10 years? She needs life in prison. Again, if you're in the Dallas area, and if you want to come on, by all means, here's the email. Yeah, she needs life. She needs life in prison. Like I said, that story just didn't add up. It just didn't add up. It just didn't add up at all. If we're the other way around, it would be no question. In fact, if it were the other way around, this would be a death penalty case. If it were the other way around. That's not true. The cop in in fact, Muhammad Noor got more than 10 years. Yeah, it just didn't add up. Something is off. Black Order says she needs the chair. Again, if you want to call in, search for uhuru@gmail.com. Search for uhuru@gmail.com. I'm gonna tell you it was odd too. Well, it's not odd because we already know how they operate. These black conservatives have been very quiet about this case. Blue Lives Matter. Blue Lives Matter has been quiet as well. You notice they haven't said anything. You know, these black conservatives that believe that all cops are right no matter what they do. All cops are right no matter what they do. All the white cops are right no matter what they do. They're quiet on this one. You haven't heard from them. Well, ADOS is quiet because Botham John is not ADOS. That's probably why they're quiet on this one. But the black conservatives, it's like, where do you stand on this? Is she guilty? Like, they won't go on their conservative page and say Amber Guyger is guilty because they know that their white base is going to come for them. That's why. I don't know what is I still don't understand this castle doctrine and how it applies here at this case. That's what, yeah. He's not a foundational black. He's not a foundational black American. So therefore, that's why a lot of ADOS has been quiet on this, because he's not a foundational black American. And per ADOS, he came and he's taking jobs from ADOS. Yeah, he's not a foundational black American. And per Tariq Nasheed, if Amber would have got off, he would have blamed it on black immigrants in the jury, per Tariq Nasheed. Again, Tariq was saying this the other night, that if Amber Guyger's found not guilty or gets off, the blame is going to go on black immigrants in the jury. So he's blaming the Hispanics. And then he said, yeah, they might be black jurors, but are they immigrants or are they foundational black Americans? Because if they're immigrants, they want to make white Zaddy happy and they will find Amber Guyger not guilty. That's what Tariq Nasheed said. That's what he said. Yeah, so he was already saying the fix is in. Tariq was saying that the fix is in and that the black immigrants will be the reason why Amber Guyger is not guilty. I'm telling you what he said. I'm just saying what he said. That's just what he said. Yeah, that's what Tariq said. He's like, well, they might be black. They might be black, but we don't know. Are they foundational black Americans? Are they foundational black Americans? Because if the jury if they're black immigrants, they're gonna find Amber Guyger not guilty because they want to make sure white Zaddy's happy. I'm not anti-ADOS. By definition, I'm ADOS. And don't say I'm anti-ADOS by just repeating what Tariq Nasheed said. That's what he said. That's what he said. I'm just telling you what he said. That's what he said. I'm not anti-ADOS. I'm anti-Captain Black American. That's all. Because by definition, I'm ADOS, by definition. But I am not a Captain Black American. America is not the end all, be all for me. And the Captain Black American leverages my ancestors' bones are buried here. The bones are buried here. Just to gain a better position on white Zaddy's lap. That's all. That's the Captain Black American. White Zaddy, my bones, ancestors' bones are buried here. Can I get a better seat on your lap, Zaddy? That's the Captain Black American. Good times, call in. Call in. Good times, call in. I want you to call in. That's the email, good times. Call in. Send me email and I'll see the link. Call in. Call in. No, I'm African first. I'm Africa first. Always been. Even when I've criticized Africa, I've had issues with Africa. I've had issues with certain African peoples, individuals. I've always been Africa first. Okay, good times. I sent you the email. Call in and educate me. You have the email. Call in. Hit the like button as you guys come in. I sent you the email. Call in. Now, don't kick people out yet. Again, call in. If you feel like I don't have a proper understanding, you're more than welcome to call in. Pan-Africanism has been one-sided, though, Dinus. Okay, what does that have to do with jockeying for position on White Zaddy's lap? It's a stalling tactic. What does that have to do with jockeying for position on Zaddy's lap? Well, Dinus, Pan-Africanism is not balanced. Okay, so you're anti-Pan-Africanism, but you want to use my bones is buried here in America to jockey for a position on Zaddy's lap. That's what I don't understand. If you were to say something like, "Look, Pan-Africanism isn't working. Let's build a nation of our own," then that would make more sense. But saying, Pan-Africanism isn't working, but Zaddy, can I sit on your lap? How's that a win? How is that a win? Bones is buried. That's all I'm saying. We have never been treated as equals here in this country since we first got here. And all of a sudden you think it's going to change. That's all I'm saying. But that's let's get back on topic. I know, I'm sorry, Skin Deep. All I was saying is from what I heard, I was watching a live stream with Tariq, and he brought up that if the black jury members are not foundational Black Americans and they're immigrants, they're going to let Amber Guyger off. I'm just telling you what he said. That's what he said. I'm just telling you what he said. And all of a sudden, me repeating that, I'm anti-ADOS. I agree. ADOS is owed a debt. Absolutely. We're owed a check. Then what? So you think getting a check is going to stop the Amber Guygers and the Pantaleos and Darren Wilsons of the world? That's all I'm saying. So you get a check, then what? The Amber Guygers and the Darren Wilsons, they're just going to disappear? What happens? You get a check. You want to stay here in America because your bones are buried here in America. And instead of being, excuse my language, I hate using this word, so I'm not going to use the word. Instead of being Negroes, now you'll just be Negroes with reparations. That's all. And do you really think that the same racist country that allows police officers to kill us with impunity is then going to give you the resources so we're now put in a position to compete? I mean, come on, we have to stop. We have to stop. And the reality is, if you want to let's deal with civil rights. In order for us to get civil rights, we had to bleed in order to gain civil rights or civil rights. You guys saw the videos, dogs being sicked on us, getting shot with water cannons. You saw the videos. You saw the videos. To obtain civil rights, we had to bleed. But you really have people thinking that we're going to get reparations and that Zaddy is going to give us an even playing field via meetings and a hashtag. You are out of your mind. And we are deserved reparations. I'm ADOS. I want my check. But you think a hashtag, foundational Black Americans, ADOS, we fought in every war, our bones are buried here, is going to compel the same system that makes that gives birth to the Amber Guygers, Darren Wilsons, Pantaleo, whatever his name is going to compel them to give us a check and ensure that we have an even playing field with them. You are out of your mind. It's delusional. You're deflecting now. You're deflecting. But anyways, guys, back on topic. And again, you guys are more than welcome to call in. Oh, let's see what we got here. Lou, I can't. I got to bring somebody else in. I got to bring somebody else. Lou, I can't bring you in, Lou. I can't bring you in. I would prefer ADOS to call in. And again, I support ADOS. I agree that there is a debt owed. But the Captain Black American, you're delusional. That's all I'm saying. Guys, if you want to call in and have this discussion, we can. Here's the email. Here's the email. I'm not hating on Tariq. I'm just repeating what Tariq said. In fact, hold on. Let me play the video. I'm going to play the video. Hold on one second. Let me play the video. Hold on one second. Let me play this video.
Now how to orchestrate this stuff. Yeah, I've had people try to say it's mostly people of color. No, it's not.
Oh, here we go. Let me share the screen. Let me go ahead and play what Tariq said. Hold on, let me go ahead and play what Tariq said himself.
No, it's not. There's 7 white people on that trial. Okay? 7 people who are going to be on code. There's 5 non-black people. There's more than 5 non-black people. There's only 5 black people. Somebody said, no, it's not. There's 5 black people. And who are those black people? That's another thing. Who are the black people on the jury? Are they some damn anti-black American immigrants?
As if foundational black Americans don't coon and sell out. As if foundational black Americans whose bones are buried here don't sell out.
Some people say Bolton John, he's an immigrant. That doesn't matter. That doesn't matter at all. You get some immigrants on there, they don't like no other black person. They don't give a fuck who they are. What makes you think they're gonna jeopardize their standing with white supremacy by helping Bolton and getting?
Again, as if African immigrant, black immigrants are the only black people, as if foundational black Americans don't jockey for position on white zaddy's lap.
Justice for him. I understand. Remember that case with Walter Scott, with the cop who killed Walter Scott out there in South Carolina? See, they get these people who have these allegiances to another country or another community.
Okay, I had enough. You know, you see, and that's the issue I have. Yeah, as if foundational black Americans don't sell out, as if foundational black Americans don't coon. Come on. Yeah. Now, ADOS, foundational black Americans whose bones are buried here, have never cooned. But see, I'll bring this up, and now I'm hating. Why are you hating Tariq? I'm not. I'm just repeating what he said. I'm just repeating what he said. So if the 5 jurors were for foundational black Americans and say they found Amber Guyger not guilty, would that make any difference? Again, I agree that there is a debt owed to, I guess, the descendants of slaves who built this country. I agree. I'm one of them. But damn it, where this is going now, and what this is turned into, I'm not about to fight or argue with my black immigrant brother and sister over roles and positions that white zaddy are offering when we refuse. In fact, hold on, let me show this video. I got another video I want to show you guys. Damn, what's the name of the brother? Hold on one second. I got to show you this video. This is why I refuse. There we go. So hold on one second. Let me pull this video up. Here we go. Hold on one second.
That's what we on. We are.
Here we go. Let me play this video for you guys. This is Darius McCrary, who played on Family Matters. And I want you guys to listen to him. There was a time and point in America, and it's really when we chose integration, all right? And once we chose integration, many of us thought that there was no need to build a Black anything. And it was all for self, and all we did was jockey for position on white Zaddy's lap. And it caught up with us. And I'm about to prove my point why. Here we go.
Here on self-fulfillment and we hide behind the term Black Hollywood.
Do you think that even being a Black man that has maybe interfered with your trajectory in your career?
That's a great question.
And I'll say, I'm assuming heterosexual Black male at that. Does that, you think, interfere at times?
That's a great question. I think that my ideas and my portrayal of a Black heterosexual male has possibly hindered my career to a degree. But I mean, in the same breath, I did a show called Anger Management where I played a gay man, with Charlie Sheen.
Okay.
So I don't really discriminate or, deliberate between being a Black male, a white man, an Asian man. I feel like what my goal is I want people to be able to look at my career, look at the role that I played, listen to a song that I wrote, and be able to put themselves in those shoes. And that's what I go for. I think that a lot of times we allow our pride to get the best of us as Black men because we've been beat up for so long. And we've had to scrap and scratch and scrape.
Right. You took a deep breath. Is that you just reflecting on?
Yeah, I was just having a conversation with a really good friend of mine who's a really talented actor and comedian, and you guys know him. And I was just saying that we were speaking.
I mean, basically, at the end of the day, I'm not going to play the entire video. I'm not going to play the entire video. Basically, what he was saying is that instead of coming together, we would fight each other over roles that Daddy provided us, white Zaddy provided us. So instead of coming together and creating our own, we found more value in what Zaddy, we found more value in what Zaddy was providing. That's all he's saying. That's all he's saying. That's what it is. And now it's gotten to the point where a lot of us are counting on and really think that the system that empowers people like Darren Wilson is going to give us a check so that we can now compete with them. All these questions you're asking in the chat room, all deflections. You're deflecting. Yeah, it's just, and all I did was just make a point, and everybody's upset. So I'm done with it. I'm done. Yeah, if black men build together, or if ADOS builds together, all of these excuses and all of these complaints, we wouldn't have them right now. Yes, we're still owed. But again, the majority of these complaints I'm hearing, I'm just like, look, well, if we were just to build and control our own, there would be no need. We wouldn't have all these complaints. Yeah. And we're owed reparations. We're owed. Black tea. I'm about to send a link right now. Black tea. I'm sending a link. Black tea. Somebody says I'm hating because I'm name calling. No, but that's what you are. You are a Captain Black American. You are a Captain Black American. All I hear is a bunch of Captain Black American talk. And you're justifying being a Captain Black American because your bones are buried here. But then the majority of y'all don't even know where your bones are buried. Past maybe your grandmother. I'll give you a prime example. There's a graveyard right here in Atlanta. That 85 at Cleveland Avenue. If you're going south on 85, like you're headed to the airport, get off of Cleveland Avenue, make a right. There's a graveyard right there. I think it's like one of the first Black graveyards in Atlanta. Look at the condition it's in. Weeds everywhere. It's in disrepair. And you have stuff like that all over America. Black grave sites of our ancestors whose bones are buried here that are in such disrepair. But you guys are so concerned about the ancestors and their bones buried here. And you try to leverage that into compelling, again, the same system that empowers Darren Wilson to give us resources in order to compete with them. That is delusional. It's delusional. Black tea, go ahead. Black tea, go ahead. I can't hear you. I can't hear. We can't hear you. We can't hear you. Somebody says, same in Compton. Compton Cemetery is messed up. Black tea. Back to you, we can't hear you. And the thing is, and I promise I'm gonna leave this alone. This is my biggest issue. People keep saying that African immigrants are eating off of the plate of Black Americans, or enjoying the fruits of Black Americans that Black Americans bled for. Dude, white women and non-Black immigrants are the ones that are primarily exploiting the system and enjoying the fruits that the foundational Black Americans died for to make possible. But you guys don't give them that same energy, but you want to go after Black immigrants. That's the main problem I have. Again, white women are the biggest beneficiaries of affirmative action, and they're considered minorities, and they have access to the same opportunities and loopholes that are afforded to the ADOS community, that the ADOS community bled for and died for. But you guys don't go after white women. You guys don't go after these non-Black Hispanics. You guys don't go after these Asian minorities. But you guys spend all day and all night on Black and on Black immigrants. That's my problem. I think that's the main issue. And trust me, I understand that some Black immigrants come over here and cool. I'm not denying that. The division is entertaining the white people. It is entertaining. But again, the Black immigrant is the least of your problems. Trust me. The Black immigrant is the least of your problems. Again, the people who benefit the most off of the ADOS struggle, white women and non-Black immigrants, by far, they take the lion's share. They take the lion's share. But you guys want to focus day and night on Black immigrants. Right, but you cannot keep you're mad at so you're upset at the Black immigrant, right? But we cannot keep an ADOS woman out of a Korean beauty supply store. We can't keep an ADOS woman out of Popeyes. And the list goes on. So stop. Black T, go ahead. Black T, that you got that Cricket 1G. You got that Cricket 1G. Brother, you got that Cricket 1G. Because they look like us, so they're able to undermine it. Dude, there's no, oh my God. Listen, Black immigrants do not get together, okay, on a Saturday or a Sunday and discuss how they're going to undermine the ADOS community. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it. For God's sake, stop it. They undermine us. Stop it. There is no Black immigrant get together, okay, where they're sitting down and discussing how they could undermine the ADOS community. Just stop it. Stop it. Golly. I mean, that's my thing. There's enough to go around for everybody. And I'd be damned if I'm going to fight or argue with some Black immigrant. I'd be damned if I'm going to argue and fight with Black immigrants over jobs and opportunities that white people are offering. All right, so his don't work. All right, FEF. I sent you the link. FEF. I sent you the link. And agree. I understand there are some issues. I get it. I never denied that. I'm just saying, fighting over jobs that the white man created. I mean, that's what it is. Fighting and arguing over jobs and opportunities that white people created. I mean, we just have to stop. And again, for the 50th time, I agree that there is a debt owed to the descendants of slaves who built this country. I agree, by all means. I agree. Yeah, Queen T, thank you. There are coons and issues with both groups. I agree. But it is not, they are the black immigrant is not the main issue of ADOS. And if you think so, you are delusional and sick. EF, I sent the link. Thank you. Some people are focusing on the black immigrant. It's too much. Too much. That's what I'm saying. It's just being focused on too much. That's why I was like, at first I was like, you know what? I agree with a lot of what ADOS says. I agree. I think there should be more of an effort for the continent to connect to descendants of enslaved Africans. I agree. I agree that there's that money is owed, a debt is owed to descendants of enslaved Africans, ADOS, whatever you want to call it, who built this country. I agree. But damn it, now it's turning into every little problem that the ADOS community has is the black immigrants' fault. And I'm like, okay, all right. No. It's like, okay, no. We're not going there. Absolutely not. You know. So yeah, but anyways, guys, I'm gonna go ahead and check out Effie. I sent the link. Black Tea. We're still waiting for you to come on, but the Cricket 1G isn't working. Here we go. Larry J. Blige. Hold on. Exactly. Here we go. Mexican. I'm gonna do a show on this. Mexicans are kicking ADOS ass on the West Coast, but they worried about Nigerians. I mean, there it is. And then when it started getting to that, I was like, okay, I can't, because I'm done. Again, I agree with a lot of the points that ADOS made. They made some valid points. But when it got to that point, I was like, okay, we're focused on the wrong people. We're focused on the wrong people. And the thing I don't understand, okay? And if you disagree with this, you're delusional. America is on a decline right now. Again, America is on a decline. Africa is the future. So the amount of energy that ADOS is spending to get on Zaddy's lap in declining America, I don't understand why you won't take that energy and take that and focus on Africa. I mean, again, you could walk and chew gum at the same time. I'm sorry, that's what I mean. I'm not saying you got to take your entire focus off of what's owed here and focus on Africa. But again, the comments I'm hearing as far as why we're not working with Africa or why we don't do this with Africa, and then you're turning around asking for Zaddy to give you a better position in declining America, doesn't make sense. I mean, you got Sierra Leone, you got Rwanda. I mean, you got there's all types of countries in Africa. That's what I'm saying. Africa's the future, but you want to fight over Zaddy's positions in declining America. That's what I don't understand. You know, just so Amber Guyger 2.0 could show up at your front door. Yeah, by all means, get your money. I mean, America's still a great place to make money, but it's on a decline. It's on a decline. I'm just saying. All reparations is the cherry on top. But all the rhetoric I'm hearing from ADOS is like, we want Zaddy to bake the cake and put the cherry on top, versus us baking our own cake and then saying, hey, we need this cherry on top. Oh, that's all I'm hearing is a bunch of stalling tactics, which is okay. By all means, I'm not mad. I mean, I'm not mad. I'm really not mad. I just think it's funny. I just think it's hilarious. Too black, too strong. Here's the email. Call in and tell me where I'm incorrect, how I'm incorrect. Here's my email. Call in. Call in. Too black, too strong. You have my email. Give me the facts. Call in. Too black, too strong. Call in. All I'm saying is, I'm just hearing so many excuses on why we can't get together and build, and that the solution to us not building now is the United States of America giving us the resources so we could build and compete with them. Or, you know, what I continue to hear is, from the rhetoric I keep hearing from ADOS is they are hoping that the United States government gives them the resources to put them in a position to compete with your historic racist enemy. Come on. Yeah, I'm saying, give me my check. Just give me a check and you know, just keep it pushing. But I'm not counting on the check. Like I said, the check will be the cherry on top. That's all I'm saying. The reparations check will be the cherry on top, but I am not counting on it at all. If it comes, it comes. If it doesn't, it doesn't. No, I want them to call in. I keep putting the people that are saying, Diners, you're incorrect. You don't know what you're talking about. You don't have the facts. Come enlighten me. All right, let's see here. Divine Wisdom. I just sent you the link. Divine Wisdom. I just sent you the link. Darius, I agree. All right, guys. So the sentencing is about to come up. I don't know if I'm gonna stay on or not. I kind of want to go ahead and log off. But I want them to call. You are more than welcome to call in. I'm all for proper discourse. I'm all for it. I'm all for you coming on and, sharing your ideas and beliefs. I'll welcome it. You're more than welcome. Queen Mother says, not waiting for check while I'm not waiting for the check. They can cash app my check. All right, here we go. All right, go ahead, brother.
Yo, how you doing, man?
I'm good. I'm doing good, brother. Go ahead.
All right, but oh, I'm sorry. Oh, all right, but yeah, like I was like what I sent over in your email. You know, I see us as displaying our little tribalism, and like I was saying, you know, some things you just have to go through in order to move past it. You know, so give us our little 15 seconds to display tribalism. Then after that, we need to go ahead and start building as a people, because that's the only way that we're really going to advance. Like you say, Africa is the future. You know, a lot of times black people are called.
And brother, and this isn't just me saying this as a Pan-Africanist or Nigerian or Danish. You're partial to Africa. Everybody's saying this. When I go to Africa, everybody's there. So this isn't me just saying this. And everybody's saying how America's on a decline.
Yeah, a lot of times black people get caught up in what's hot now when we need to look at what's going to be hot. You know, like a lot of people here in the States, we used to look at what is the hot city now. Let's move to, LA now. Let's move to Atlanta now because it's hot now, when we need to be thinking ahead to like Dallas or like Houston. You know, we need to do a better job of looking towards the future and where the money and prosperity is going to be at. You know, that's one thing that we've been severely lacking in. But like I was saying, you know, we've never had the chance to have our opportunity to show tribalism. And now that we finally have the opportunity, some people are just going overboard with it, you know, and you have to just let some people get past that, you know, be like, all right, go ahead, get your little tribalism out.
This is the issue. This is the difference between the ADOS tribalism and tribalism in Africa. Like tribalism in Africa, the African is fighting over resources that they themselves can, I guess, somewhat control or put themselves in a position of ownership, right?
Uh-huh.
This tribalism is like you're fighting over, again, position on the boss's lap. That's just me personally. That's how I look at it.
And you know, that is what it comes down to.
Yeah, that's
You
what it comes.
know, but most people are not going to see it like that, and they're not going to even allow
But
themselves to see
I
it
don't
like that.
understand how can you see it any other way? Like, what are you fighting over? Oh, well, so Cho. Okay, here we go. Oh, Harriet Tubman, the girl playing Harriet Tubman ain't ADOS. She ain't ADOS. Oh, okay. Who's cutting the check to empower the woman who's playing Harriet Tubman?
Well,
What color is that person?
white.
So exactly. So your beef needs to be with them, but instead you don't want to beef with them because you want to work for them and again get favoritism and get a position on their lap. That's all it is.
Well, sometimes, Don, it is hard to fight the dog. It's easy to fight the other cats, you know, but when it's time to step to that big dog, you know, you don't feel quite as brave. You're not quite as ready. So, you know, you want to sharpen up your sword fighting your other neighborhood cats first. You know, that's what I see that as. And we've always had that issue. We don't mind fighting other black people. You know, we have no problem with that. But when it comes to fighting that damn big dog, you know, we're not as brave when it comes to that.
And then when I bring up the idea, like, hey, okay, well, this is what you do. ADOS, we pull our money together, we build our own studio, and then we shoot our own ADOS Harriet Tubman movie. Oh, we ain't got no money. We ain't got no money. And it's just like, God damn, man. I mean, for God's sake.
I do agree with you there. Tyler Perry has more than enough resources to shoot the proper movie that we want. Me personally, I feel that if a white man is paying for it, you know, if he's funding everything, he can, you know, make whatever movie however he likes, you know, because it's his. You know, until like you say, we have our own, we really should have minimal say so about it because it's not ours, bottom line. And we have the capability to own our own film company now, you know, studio, whatever. If we want it, we can go ahead and pay for it and you know, produce it for ourselves. But
And the thing is, the amount of people who are in this ADOS movement, again, put your money together and create your own. And that's all. But they don't even want to get started. That's the thing. Just get started. You create your own, and then, you know, when the reparations come, it's a cherry on top. But just get started. And that's what I'm not seeing that. And that's the problem.
But you know, perhaps going through tribalism is a step in getting to that point. You know, we've never had, you know, whereas we were all linked arm in arm as a damn tribe, and we're like, hey, you know, we're this tribe, that tribe, we're proud of ourselves, and you know, maybe this is an intricate step towards that. You know, I don't know, Donis, but I think it's something that we just have to go through now. I think we have to get over it very fast, and I think some people are taking advantage of it and going overboard with it. You also have to understand us as black people. We talk a lot of smack, man. I see most of what Tariq doing as just talking smack, you know, because he actually rolls with a lot of immigrants, a lot of his people immigrants. He's constantly over in Africa, you know, and that's where a lot of immigrants get it twisted with us. We, you know, as a people, we talk a lot of smack, but we don't actually mean it. We don't actually mean any harm from it. We just talk smack, man.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like I said, I'm not gonna fight and argue with black immigrants over jobs and roles, positions that are being offered by white people. I can't. I'm not gonna do that. There's just too much and enough to go around. That's all.
Yeah.
And
I
then
feel you there.
the thing is, brother, how intellectual a lot of people. I mean, how smart and intellectual a lot of people who are part of this movement claim to be. I'm just like, why can't you create your own? You're this smart. You got all the data, you know, all these facts, you know, all these people with money. Like, hold on, stop the show. Stop the show. What's your boy's name? Tone Talk.
Mm.
Now, Tone Talks knows he always brags about how he knows Brian Allen, right? You know what Brian Allen is, right?
Yeah.
Okay, Tone, have you guys not approached Brian to contribute and help you guys build an ADOS only movie studio? He swears he has him on speed dial, and he knows him personally. He's a billionaire, a black billionaire. Have him contribute towards your cause. I mean, did that make sense? Is it Byron Allen? I'm sorry.
It is.
I'm just saying right there.
That's the problem. We don't have the proper organization to whereas we can where we should have been done that if we were properly organized and if we were moving as we should, you know, that's a step that we should have been taking, you know, years ago, you know. But we're just a people who we have no darn unity, no darn leadership, organization. And so you have people out here that are just doing what they want and just floating in the wind and going and saying whatever they want to, you know, even if it's a detriment to the community as a whole. Because prior to this ADOS movement, I would say that we have not viewed ourselves as one community. We have plenty Negroes that actually fight that being a darn community, you know. So those are some things that we definitely have to work on and resolve, seeing ourselves as a community. And for some, and I don't know why, seeing ourselves as one unified community involves identifying and then segregating to a certain point non-ADOS black people, you know, which there may be a necessity for that in some instances, but not in the majority instances. And like I said, a lot of people are just taking it too darn far. Sure, there are some black immigrants that do not have our best intention at heart, but by and far, I would say that the majority of black immigrants are at least sympathetic and in our brotherhood with us for the most part, you know. But they just harp on and highlight those cases of the black immigrants who aren't down for the cause and are only thinking about them themselves, you know. So, you know, you know, a lot of times the loudest rooster in the flock is in the minority, you know. But it just so happens that they are the loudest rooster, and so they are highlighted more, you know. But yeah, we should definitely have been approach people like Byron Allen and what's the other guy, Medea guy.
Well, okay,
we'll
include Tyler Perry, but again, the reason why I'm including Byron Allen is because Tone Talks always brags on how much access he has to him. I'm like, damn, he's a billionaire. Okay, you're upset that this Hollywood studio is creating this movie about Harriet Tubman and using a non-ADOS to play that role. How about you go to Brian Allen, the billionaire, who you say who has real wealth, and ask him to help ADOS produce ADOS only movies? That just makes sense to me. If you have this relationship with him, You know, that's all I'm saying. Queen Mother, go ahead.
Hi, good afternoon, family. I'm hearing over the different programs so much talking about what was and what is, but we're not talking about the resolve or the resolution. Okay, and I'm thinking, once I made a decision, okay, that's it, I'm out, I'm gone. All of the parts have fallen into place for me. And when I left the US in 80 and in the 80s and went down to Jamaica to get away from all of this talking and how we are and how we're not. The void, there wasn't a void, but I left that behind with the white supremacists and all of that, all the white folks. And I lived a very happy Black life in a foreign country. And it's not even like, well, I'm gonna take the risk. No, the desire I had to get me and my children out of here, even from the 80s, was stronger than the desire to stay here. And I'm hearing a lot of, you know, we're this and we're that, but we got to go back to where all of that came from. And then we have to shed it. We have to, we have to shed the disunity. We have to shed the the distrust in one another. We have to understand where it came from, and it's inherent. It's the fiber of our existence in America. And once you understand that when we came here on those, however we got here on the slave ships or whatever, our conditioning, the way we were broken in, and it's the fiber of our existence, but it does not have to continue. We can make up our minds that we're going to love our brothers, we're going to love our sisters, we're going to, we don't have a true vision of a king or a queen, no, but we have sisters. We can get a pure, clear vision of our men, our mighty warriors, no matter who they are. Don't pick out this one, don't pick out that one. The other night, the brother was saying, men are this, and I'm 65. And I couldn't, it was hard for me to listen to the way, and it's just me talking, the way Black men are talking about Black men and Black men are talking about work in this current day, in you guys, in your generation. It just blows me away. But my thing today is get over it. Get over all of it. And look at what's going on in America. What's happening? Put your ear to the ground. Don't waste time on this one. We doing this. Get the hell out of here. Okay? Because it's not going to get sweet. What's really going on? You got to watch what's really going on in this country. Just like Dinus was saying, we're on the decline. Okay? And your homeboy in the White House was saying, okay, impeach me, there's going to be civil war. Okay? This is crazy. All of this is insane. But we don't have to partake of it. We don't have to live in it. We don't have to exist in it. We don't have to raise our children in this madness, in this country. We don't have to. That's the point. We don't have to. And then, we're all these things about Africa and all like that. Well, guess what? That's our roots. That's where we came from. And and I'm thinking the Boko Haram or whatever it is, to me, it's coming like the Crips and the Bloods. You know what I'm saying? And I don't know, people might disagree with me on that one, but do you have anything to do with the Crips and the Bloods? Maybe if you live in LA or Chicago or whatever. I'm just saying, free your mind and your backside will follow. Hi, Dinah.
Hey, I'll see you next week. I'll be in New York next week. I head to Senegal and Gambia, so I'll find out. So I'm gonna stop by.
If I had tied up loose ends here, I'd be on that plane with. I'm just wrapped. It's a wrap, buddy. It's a wrap. Yeah, it's a wrap for me. But I don't. Because I am an elder, And because I've lived a long time, more than a half a century, you know, and I've lived through social issues with Black men and women and all like that. We need to just let it go out your brain. It's taking up too much, and it's clouding, you know, it's clouding your direction. You don't sit around here waiting for no 40 acres and a mule. Like I said, cash at me. If you're gonna send me $1.50, cash at me my money. I'm out. I'm serious. I'm not gonna sit around and wait for it. We waited for over 100 years, 150 years. And I'm not gonna wait here and watch any more of our societies that we're building up for ourselves, calling it wealth, be destroyed whenever. You know what I'm saying? Because it's repeating itself. And there was a very brilliant brother that says, we've got to stop. This has got to stop. And if you want to take your families through it, take your children through it, take your parents through it some more, so be it. But you have a choice, and you don't have to live like this. That's
Okay.
all.
Real quick, Black Capricorn, I want you to call in. Oh, Dizali, real quick, I got to ask you a question.
Yes, sir.
When I hear ADOS say, so us who have an African plan, they're saying that we're running, and that ADOS who doesn't and are staying, they say they are fighting. What can you explain this fight? Like, what is a fight? Like, what kind of fight? Like, can you when they say we're fighting, we're not running, we're gonna stay here and fight. Like, what does that mean?
They see it as, you know, fighting the man, fighting the system, fighting to get a toehold in this white supremacy haven. You know,
How though? Like how?
It's done really crap. You know, it's really crap and excuse. But when we say that, what we see it as, you know, I think that they actually think that if we stay here and if we march enough and if we fight enough and if we flip over enough cars that the American government will bring us to the table and say, all right, guys, what you want? You want, you know, Georgia, Alabama, South Carolina. Some people are actually delusional enough to think they will do that, which they will never do.
But this is the thing, not to cut you off. So during the civil rights movement, you know, they were out on the streets marching. White people were spraying their water cannons on them, sicking their dogs on them. Like, they were somewhat fighting. You know, they were going to the lunch counters. You know, they were going. You know, they'll protest at the lunch counters, and you know, white people were attacking them. I mean, I guess that would be considered a fight. But all I see is meetings and hashtags. So I'm trying to figure out how meetings and hashtags equal a fight. Like, can you?
Hold on. Dinus and my brother, the other brother, if we're going to have a fight, we need to fight to get these brothers out of these prisons. Okay, you want to fight? Get these brothers out of prisons, because now they're felons and they can't get a passport. Our fight should be to free that kind of people and to keep, you know, the incarceration. If you're going to fight for something, fight for those brothers and sisters who are locked up like slaves. That, you know, but fighting for, I mean, yes, since I've been alive, yeah, since 1953, yeah, the fights we have progressed to a point where we can have education and live in houses and stuff like that. But brother, I'm going to say this and then I'm going to go. I turned to this African brother here in Harlem, this man, a big man, a little young man. And I looked at him and the ancestors spoke through me and said, I looked at him and I said, I am an African, you know, because I'm an African American, but I am an African, and I've been here for 400 years, and it's time for me to go home. That's what resonated me. I wasn't thinking about saying nothing like that, but the ancestors spoke through me and said, I am an African. Look here, brother, I'm an African. And we have to get that in our spirit to have our own self-identity. Because if you were a Chinaman, you would say, I'm a Chinese. And if you were an Italian, say, I'm Italian. You understand? But we're not saying I'm an African. and I've been here too long and I want to go home. Straight. I love y'all.
Love you
really do
too.
Love you too.
I really love you.
Listen, Queen Mother, I'll see you in 9 or 10 days. 9 or 10 days. I'll see you.
I'm pulling up the chair to the table for you. Love you. I'm out.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thing is, Donis, really there is no fighting here. If we're being honest, you can't come to my house and fight me. You know,
Right.
if you don't have a house of your own, that's just being real. And a lot of our people have not realized that we don't even have a home base of operations if we aren't, you know, claiming Africa. If you're going to fight somewhere, you have to have a home base of operations. You just can't be a darn they call it tribe, nomadic tribe, trying to fight someone who has established home turf. You know, so if no other reason than that, we should link up with Africa just so we can have a home base of operation. You have to have home, you know. Also, as far as it goes to plugging up with Africa, our only hope for getting reparations is if we connect with Africa, build Africa, and we can present a powerful force, a powerful unified force to this country. Then we can ask for reparations. So actually, we're stepping on our own toes when we're not trying to build with Africa and unify with Africa in order to get reparations, because power does not submit to weakness. Power only submits to other power, only recognizes other power. Right now, as a people, we are too weak to even sit at a table and ask. Well, when you have power, you're not asking, you are demanding. Right now, we do not have the position or the power to even talk to them about reparations. You know, so that's actually the key in our getting reparations. Japan, Japanese, they got reparations because they have a actual nation behind them. Anyone who has really gotten reparations has an actual nation behind them. So if for no other reason, that is a reason that ADOS should be eager to link with and build with Africa, you know. But we just need some nation over in Africa to fully embrace us and, you know, maybe offer some type of dual citizenship or, you know, something to whereas we can cling to. And then the majority of Black American are like sheep anyway. We'll follow what, you know, whatever's hot. You know, so that's something that I've been wanting to bring up to the people. If we're actually serious about reparations, we had better link up with Africa.
All right, cool. All right, AJ Green, I just sent the link. All right, brother. We appreciate you coming on, brother.
All right.
All right, talk. Bye bye. All right, AJ Green, I just sent the link, and you'll be the last caller. All right, hold on 1 second. Let's see what's going on. Okay. AJ Green, I just sent the link. You'll be the last caller. Guys, make sure you hit that like button as you come to the chat room. Please subscribe as well. If you are new, please subscribe. But nothing yet. I'm watching on both screens. Once the sentencing starts taking place, I'll put it back on the stream. AJ Green, dollar 316. We're waiting on you. You'll be the last caller. All right, here we go. All right, go ahead, brother.
Hey, how's it going? Thanks for having me on.
Go ahead.
I just wanted to make a couple of things clear. This entire idea of being anti-immigrant, that's not the case, and we get it most wrong. before, we have to are an identity, not no one person. We're made up
Brother,
people with a lot of.
Dollar, the cricket, the cricket 1G is acting up. The cricket 1G is acting up. It's going in and out.
Here we go. Is that better?
Yeah, keep going. Go ahead.
Hello?
Let's see how it works.
Okay. Yes.
Yeah, go ahead.
So some people, yes, they do have feel a certain kind of way about.
Okay, listen. Brother, you're breaking up.
Damn it. Together the best I can. Hold on. Is that?
Yeah, go ahead. Let's see if we can keep you on. Go ahead. Okay. All right. Okay. Go ahead. All right, guys. So now listen, I try to be as balanced as possible. Now, two pro. Okay, $316. Go ahead. Can we hear you?
That's it. The idea.
Dollar, we didn't hear anything you said. Like your connection is.
Okay. Sorry. This is all I got. I'm gonna have to try. Let me try it back again.
Okay. Okay. All right. Now, see, I'm trying to be as balanced as possible. Now, the two pro ADOS who have called in all have been calling from Cricket 1G and Metro PCS 1G phones. Yes, go stand by the window. Go stand by a window. I'm just saying. Pretty Nikki, email me. Pretty Nikki, email me. Search for Uhuru at gmail.com. Email me, Pretty Nikki, and I will send you the link. Pretty Nikki, email me. Search for Uhuru at gmail.com, and I will send you the link. I'm just saying, like, I want to keep this as balanced as possible. That's not a balanced sample pool, Dinas. What do you mean? Nikki, email me at that email address and I'll send you a link. Okay, Nikki, I'm about to send you a link right now. All right, Nikki, I just sent you the link. Nikki, I just sent you the link. Click on the link. You'll be the last caller. All right, Nikki, go ahead. Go ahead, Nikki.
Okay.
Yeah, so I've been watching you for some time now, and when I found you, you were a big supporter of the ADOS movement, which is why I started watching and continued watching you. And as I continued watching you, I started to see that your language started to change, and you started to be more,
For a
seemed
reason.
to be more of a supporter of a Pan-Africanist
Well, okay,
movement
Nikki,
mindset.
Nikki, if I can interject real quick. So number one, uh,
Yes.
how long have you been watching me? Let me ask that question first.
Probably about, I would say probably a little less than a year. I
Okay, so
know it
let
started early on when I started watching Yvette Carnell.
right, so let me stop you right there. So a little bit about me. I've always been Africa first, and I've always been a Pan-Africanist. So
Mm.
if you, I guess, so I could just put that out there.
No, I no, that's understood. I'm just saying that even with that being said,
Mhm.
you were still a huge supporter of the ADOS movement when I
Right.
first
So
began listening.
okay, so I agree. Okay, let's here we go. I agree that there's a debt owed to the descendants of slaves
Hmm.
here in America from the United States government for the labor, the free labor that was put in by our ancestors. I completely agree with that.
Okay.
I just think the direction that the movement is going in is somewhat,
Hmm.
if we were to remove black immigrants, that all of
Hmm.
our problems would be solved. And even if we get a reparations check,
That's not true though.
but the language should I continue to hear, if we get a reparations check, remove black immigrants, I'm trying to think. I guess we're under the delusion that our historic, the system that has historically marginalized us, that they're going to give us resources to put us in a position to compete with them, is all
Mm.
delusion. I'm just like, look, let's just
Okay.
get getting our check and keep it pushing. Like everything else is pointless.
Okay. Well, here's okay. So just to answer that real quick before I say what I was going to say previously, um, no one's trying to get, and that's the thing. Anytime there's a group of people, a movement, or anything where there's more, multiple people involved, we can't control the things that everyone says. Okay, there are people that I correct that claim to be ADOS and part of this ADOS movement for reparations that I have seen say some of the most horrific things to immigrant people. Okay, I correct that because that's not what it's about. As I stated in the chat, my mother was ADOS. My father is Puerto Rican. He was the first generation born here in the United States. My
Okay, so
grandmother came from
if
Puerto
I can
Rico when
interject
she
with
was
you. So,
17.
so per like Tariq in them, you wouldn't pass the blood quantum test to be ADOS, but keep continue.
No, actually, I do because I can trace my mother's side of my family all the way back to slavery. I have. So yes,
Here in America or in Puerto Rico?
no, here. My mother, she's passed away, but she was ADOS. My mother, I can trace back, and I have all the way to North Carolina and South Carolina
Okay, okay.
to slave records. My father, my biological father, was born here in the United States. His mother, however, and his father were born in Puerto Rico. But
I don't
I
know.
still
I don't know, Nikki.
no,
I don't know. They're gonna say you're a foreigner and you taking all the jobs.
no, it doesn't.
Mm,
That's not
mm.
true. See, that's the propaganda and the rhetoric that's being
I'm
spread
just
that is
going off. I'm just going off of
incorrect.
Yvette. I'm just going off Yvette Carnell and Tone Talk.
Yvette Carnell has never said that. Has never said that. That is my point. They have never said that. As long as you can prove one or both of your parents, one or both. So they never said that. That's what I'm talking about. There's a lot of nonsense, and excuse my language, to be honest, fuckery going on when it comes to ADOS. And I find it odd that the very people that many of the people I watch that talk crap about ADOS are people that used to talk crap about the people who started talking crap about ADOS. These are people who never agreed with stuff that Roland Martin was doing, Joy Reid, Angela Wright, all the people that started the rumors about us being Russian bots and or being MAGA and all this other nonsense. It's nonsense. It's absolute nonsense. So to get back to what I was saying previously, not only am I that, but I was also my first stepfather, because my biological father was a drug addict. So he was never involved fully in my life. So my first stepfather as a very young child was St. Lucian. Okay, we moved to St. Lucia. We lived there and in Barbados for several years. Okay, I was born and raised in Brooklyn, New York. You can't get more immigrant than that. That is nothing but immigrants around in Brooklyn, New York. I grew up, my best friend to this day, over 30 something years, is first generation born from St. Vincent. Okay, I have another friend, first generation born from, and her family's from Jamaica. I grew up around immigrants. Before I was married, I dated immigrants, African, Jamaican. I've been there, done that. So I'm the last person, okay, that would say what I'm saying, and you can say that I'm anti-immigrant. Okay, what I'm saying is,
my thing is technically you can't be anti-immigrant because you're an immigrant.
I'm not an immigrant. I'm not an immigrant.
Oh, your parents are
That's
immigrants. Your parents are immigrants.
No,
my
parents aren't immigrants. My parents aren't immigrants. My father was born here.
Okay, but you said your mom was born in Puerto Rico. Am I right or wrong?
No. Now, are you doing this on purpose? Because I know you're an intelligent man, and I know I said what I said very clearly.
You mentioned Puerto Rico.
My mother, no, my mother, born American. I can trace her family, both her father and her mother's side, all the way back to North South Carolina to slave records. My father, my biological father, was born here in the United States of America. However, his parents were born in Puerto Rico. So I'm not an immigrant.
But per Yvette and them, so per Yvette, you just, but per Tariq and them, you technically like that. You're half and half.
But Tariq is not one of the co-sponsors of the ADOS movement. Tariq came in after that began. So again, people are associating whoever jumped in on the bandwagon with ADOS and what ADOS stands for, instead of going to the direct people who actually started this whole thing. And that's my problem. And you're spreading a lot of nonsense with listening to other people. Go to the source is what I'm saying. There's a website, ados101.com. They're people. They're having a conference this coming weekend.
Let me ask you.
These are the people who started it.
Your dad is Puerto Rican. Is he like a black Puerto Rican or is he a white Puerto Rican?
Afro Puerto Rican. I can tell you, the only reason I'm not showing my face right now, but you can see my face in the chat. I am very, very, very fair skinned, and I can tell you that most people assume that because when I tell them I'm half Puerto Rican.
So your dad.
Hold on, you're not allowing me to finish. But my father was darker than you. My grandmother, who's still alive, my parents are deceased, but my grandmother, my father's mother, is still alive. She is darker than you. And just spoke to my grandmother 2 days ago, and trust and believe, that's a woman who always raised her entire family, regardless of our skin complexion, because she had children that were dark as her, and she had children that were as light as me. She has always made sure we understood that we are Black, that we are African. She has always instilled that. My mother, as light as her behind was, she looked damn near white. She could pass. Matter of fact, when my grandmother and mother passed away, and I had to call a funeral home to come and get their bodies, the funeral homes, I live in Texas now, they took them to a white funeral home. And the workers there, when we went there, my family and I went there, they came to us and said, oh, we thought she was white. That's how light my mother, ADOS side of the family is. My Puerto Rican side of the family are darker than you. So we've always understood our Blackness and known that we are Black. So there's a lot of assumptions and a lot of nonsense being spread. And it's sad to say that it's being spread by people that I actually consider intelligent people.
So let me ask you,
as I was saying,
let me ask you, so was somebody like, do you know who Ronda Rousey is?
Who?
Ronda Rousey. You look her
Is
up.
she an athlete?
RH. Okay, let me pull up her picture real quick. RHONDA
Is
RO.
she an athlete?
Yes.
Okay.
Now her father, her grandfather is a black man. Was she now? Can she claim reparations now?
If her father's lineage dates back to slavery, yes. That's been stated by the people, again, the people who created the movement.
Okay, so basically, someone
It's
who
been
identifies as white today, if their grandparent,
no. If they identify as white, then no, because you have to also, it's also included on ADOS 101. You have to actually have been identifying as black. You can't identify as white and then come in and say, oh, I'm black now. No, it doesn't work like that. You have to have been identifying as a black person.
so then
So that's
my
and that's
question
and
is,
that's a whole nother can of worms, because that's another thing that people are trying to throw in the mix to mess it all up, is about biracial people and how would they do it and how would this. See, these questions are never asked of any of the people, other people who have received reparations in this country. No, none of those questions are ever asked of them. So it's ridiculous that those questions are being asked of us. And to be honest, ADOS is actually unveiling a lot of stuff that I don't think a lot of people understood or knew or realized. I think they've been sleepwalking through it. So we have shown, okay, part of the ADOS movement, the big part of ADOS movement is to expose our political base, because that is where the policies are created. The racist policies are created. So that's why we're attacking the political realm, because a lot of black people have been just giving their vote away and never getting anything back. And it's to the Democratic Party. People ask, well, why don't you go after the Republican Party? Because that's now who has gotten our vote for the past, I don't know how many decades. The Democratic Party has. So that's why we are going after the Democratic Party and demanding that they give us something for our vote, or they do not get it. Okay, we're trying to deal with the government with this, and not just coming from an emotional standpoint. We're trying to actually uncover and show people what this government is and what it's made up of, and how we have constantly given our vote and put these people in office, and they've done nothing for us. But they seem to do things for every other group, the LGBT, whatever, Q group community. They've done it for the Hispanic community, the Dreamers. That's all you hear them talk about. They're even on debate stages speaking in Spanish, things like that. We're trying to get a foothold in that, so that we can start changing policies and start actually having policies that are for a Black agenda specifically. Since everybody else can get something specifically, we want something specifically. Now understand this, the language that I'm hearing from people who self-identify as Pan-Africanists, they're automatically putting themselves in opposition to ADOS. I have a problem with that. I don't have a problem with you identifying as a Pan-Africanist, because really, deep in my heart, that's how I identify, because that is how I was raised. But the reality of it is that I keep hearing people chastising ADOS people, but no one's saying anything to the African diaspora, and they're doing some really horrific things.
like what? Give me an example.
Against ADOS.
Give me an example.
Okay, you have people now, and let me make this clear. Every time I hear an African, if I ask an African person, what is your problem with ADOS? If I had a dollar for every time I heard an African person tell me, oh, well, when I was in school, they called me names. Like what? And they're wrong.
That's BS. I agree with you.
They're a whole grown person.
No, but let me say this. I would say that's overly exaggerated.
I came back from Barbados with a Bajan accent. So people didn't know I was American when I first came back to the States. I came back with a very strong Bajan accent.
Right, but
people made fun of me.
But on the other hand, You ask ADOS what's the problem with Africans. They swear Africans sit around all day calling them a kata, which is just so far from the truth.
No, 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 no. We have way more.
Exaggerated.
We have way more. That's people that are thinking from surface. I'm talking about people that really are in this for the long haul. No, that is not it. Okay, that is not it.
Now you say you're a Pan-African. Are you a Pan-African? Are you a Pan-African?
I said I identify in my heart as a Pan-African,
So,
but on the surface, because I am a part of that ADOS movement, I have to identify as ADOS because that is my lineage too.
So
I have to identify.
So you're not a Pan-African.
And the fact that we have it, and the fact that we have it. Listen, I'm looking at your background. I have just as much African artwork and stuff in my house. It's covered all through my house. That it doesn't say anything. My life proves that I am a Pan-Africanist.
So are you?
That's what my life proves.
It's a yes or no question.
But what I am
it's a yes or no.
What I am telling you is I'm not going to continue putting the cart before the horse. Okay, this whole Pan-Africanist movement, I cannot no longer be a part of that because it's not. Look, I said I can't be a part of the movement. I said because the movement has done nothing for ADOS people who have generations of blood and bones in the ground here in the United States. Okay, it just is. It's not working, and we have to start to self-identify, because what's happening is the government has been doing this. They've been lumping us all in together. And so if you look at the data, which no one seems to be talking about, I notice how everyone keeps talking about ADOS, but they never come against the data. They never say that the data is incorrect. They never say the data is wrong. They never come at the data. They always come at ADOS personally, on a personal level. They don't come for the data because the data is real. And the data proves what we've been saying. Okay? Now, we can show the data, state the data. It doesn't mean we're anti-immigrant, but the Black immigrants are a part of the data that shows that the government has been lumping us all in together, making it appear that Black people that have been in this country for generations are doing better than they are. And it's just, it's a lie.
Okay, so let me ask you this. So you continue. Then I'll ask my question. Continue.
It's a facade, okay? When you look at the median net income of Africans versus ADOS people, you're talking about in some places like California, ADOS median net is $200 or less. But then you look at Africans and they're 60,000 and more. So and that's just one state, but that's a pattern that you'll see across the United States.
So let me ask this question then. So what you're saying is, if we separate, let me turn this off. Sorry about that. Stop. So if we separate the Black immigrant from ADOS, it will show that ADOS are actually doing worse. And in this, it will compel the system to give ADOS what?
Listen, what we're trying to say is first of all, there's a racial wealth gap. So that's between Black people, all Black people, and white people. That's clear, okay? But what we're doing is we're delving deeper than that, and we're showing that there's not just a racial wealth gap between Black and white people and Hispanic people. There is a gap just between Black people, immigrants, and ADOS, of people of ADOS lineage, foundational, whatever you want to call it, foundational Black Americans. Okay, so that is what we're showing.
Okay, so then
because we're showing.
Okay, so my question is, when you show that gap, it is going to compel the government to do what?
It is not about that part compelling the government as much as us just releasing the information to show what has been and what is still occurring with ADOS in this country, which started slavery. Had we been given our 40 acres and a mule, had they not burned down Tulsa, Oklahoma, had they not burned down had they not stolen our land and given it to white immigrants who $5 to begin. All of those things not happened, okay? And had because understand, Black immigrants didn't start coming into this country until, and I'm the 60s, but really, when they really started coming into this country was more so the late 70s and into the 80s. So
Okay.
you have to understand that every else of this country has been able to get education, college education, have been able to start businesses, things like that, own land, own all those things. The West people from the very, because we've been here from the very, we were here before this was a country, that we have been held out and stomped out from getting into this country is allowing other people to come from outside of this country, and they are, so that is all in part in showing the government the proof that they are the responsible people for the position we are today. It's not a blame game.
So are you assuming that the United States government doesn't already know what you're talking about?
Of course they already know. But who has been saying it loud enough for everyone to hear? Not just the people here in the United States, but globally. Who said that loud enough? Nobody. Because we've been busy for the past, I don't know how many decades, trying to make this a all kumbaya, one color, one people situation. Okay, and the government likes it that way, because as long as it stays that way, they can continue to hide what they've been doing systematically from the beginning. And that is why we're exposing it. And it's sad that black immigrants are a part of that exposure, but it is what it is. We're exposing the whole thing. We're not picking on any particular person. As a matter of fact, we have actual people from the African diaspora who are allies of the NDOS movement, because they understand, once they actually took the time to read the data, look at the data, to actually listen to the people who actually founded and co-founded this movement, they understand that that's what it is. We're exposing the government for everything that is done and allowed to have happened. That's what it comes down to. Now, outside of that, once we began that,
let me ask you this. Let me ask you this. So there's a clear distinction between, I guess, what I would say the wealth or the worth or the earnings of ADOS and of African immigrants. Is that what you're saying? Like, there's a clear distinction as far as you brought up real estate and all this other stuff, as far as ownership, wealth. Okay. So let me ask you this. Who is putting the African immigrant in position to be, I would say, wealthy and successful in America per ADOS?
Well, that's what I'm trying to tell. It's been the government. It's been the government. Just like the government did it with the Asians.
Is it the government along with corporations, or like who is it? If you can be specific.
Come on, I mean, you're intelligent. You understand
But I'm asking you. I'm just asking.
The government is led many times by very wealthy corporations. We understand that. That's clear.
So
but what I'm saying is,
is it safe to say that these corporations are predominantly 99.99% white owned?
Of course they are. We know that. That's what I'm saying. And us exposing, understand that a lot of people, believe it or not, a lot of Black people do not understand the depths to which this goes. A lot of people will say things like, "Oh, it's systematic racism," but you have to understand the depths to what this goes to. Again, Black immigrants are brought into this because we have to show, and it wasn't just Black immigrants. We also have Hispanics. We also show Asians. So in the data, so it's not singled. The Black immigrants weren't singled out. They have chosen to single themselves out and then come against ADOS, because they're saying that we should be fighting for reparations for all Black people in the United States. Well, we have a problem with that because your generations of your family did not live and die and fight in this country for you to, because again, this goes back to the beginning. We're showing how systematically from the beginning, this government, its wealthy corporations, white America in general, has systematically prevented ADOS people from getting anywhere. And the fact that
Pretty, let me ask,
the fact that black immigrants are able to come here and get somewhere.
right.
That in itself,
because the white corporations,
because ADOS is not innately lazy or don't want to work or the things that I hear black immigrants say.
Right, which I completely disagree with. So what you're saying,
so that's what I'm saying.
So what you're saying is, as long as these white-owned corporations cut out the black immigrant, then ADOS will be happy.
No, don't put words into my mouth. That's not what I'm saying. That's not what I'm saying.
Who's putting the black immigrant?
Listen, we're not trying to take anything away from the people. Okay, we're not trying to take anything away from the people. We are using the data to show that America and these wealthy corporations owe us. Period. We're not trying to say, oh well, we want everything back from the black immigrants and from the government. That's not what we're saying. And it's really despicable that people are going around and saying things like that because it doesn't even make sense.
That's what let's stop the show. Yvette Carnell has done several shows complaining on how white-owned Hollywood studios are hiring non-ADOS actors and actresses to play, giving them acting roles in Hollywood. All that is white daddy. Please don't hire them and hire us. And that's all I'm hearing.
No. What is being said is we have in this country black actors and actresses who have gone through the worst humiliation, through the worst things in life in this country, way long before black immigrants came to this country. They have busted their ass to get a spot, one spot, fighting over a spot, because they only came up once in a blue moon. Even with a Tyler Perry,
a spot that white dad providing. Go ahead.
Even with the Tyler Perry, who is spitting out black shows and black actors and actresses, there still are not enough roles for people who have been in this business, who have been fighting to get these roles.
Okay.
The problem is, if you have this is in the United States, okay, and you have Black Americans who are trained actors and actresses who have been in the business for years, for decades, and you're bringing in someone from a Nigerian from the UK to play a role like Harriet Tubman. And it's not just that, but you bring in a Nigerian African actor from to play the role, who has been known on social media or in interviews to say some of the most despicable things about ADOS people. Harriet is one of our heroes in this country. That is a spit in our face to do that. There are plenty of African American born in this country, ADOS, foundational Black people who could play that role and who should have gotten a chance to play that role. But it's not just her. If you look at it and look at Hollywood as a whole, it's happening everywhere. Listen, one of my husband's favorite shows is Snowfall. Why? Because he's born and raised in LA. He knows all about the crack era, the crack epidemic, and what occurred. Understand that the lead character in that show, in that series, is an African from the UK.
Okay, can I ask a question? Can I ask a question now? Can I ask a question?
Hollywood had to pay Dub C to teach him the lingo and show him around California when there are ample amount of Black actors who can play that role.
I understand that. Understood. Can I ask a question? The production company who produces Snowfall and cuts the check, is it a white-owned company?
I would assume it is. It's Hollywood. But
Okay.
again, I mean,
It's
John
also
Singleton was the director. John Singleton was the director.
who
There
cuts
were
the
a
check?
lot of black
Who
people
cuts the
involved in the
check?
production. Exactly. But that's my point. Again, you're not saying anything that I'm not saying. Okay? I'm saying, again, it's not so much to point out to take away from people. But what I'm saying is when you have, if you look at across the board, look at Ivy League college universities. When you look at the black population in these universities, how many of that black population are actually ADOS people? When you look at Hollywood now, how many in major important roles, and I'm talking about things that are more autobiographical or things like that, that you have that are about ADOS life in this country, how many are you seeing that are actually ADOS people playing these roles? These are the things that we're pointing out, only because we understand what the government has been trying to do. Understand that the government, listen, white people know they dying off, right? Understand that 49 to 50% of the Hispanics that come to this country mark the white box. They understand that they're dying off. The Hispanics, that's why they're giving everything to these Hispanics. All you hear these politicians about is the dreamers, the Hispanics, the this,
Okay,
the that.
okay. So okay, let me. I understand.
There has to be another. There has to be another superior race in this country
I
to
understand.
continue what they've been doing.
Okay, I understand all that. So let's start off with the Ivy League schools. The
Well, the same is it's the same
okay,
with black immigrants and
okay.
ADOS.
Pretty, you're long-winded. All I do is ask a simple question. I'll let you have it. Let's deal with the Ivy League schools. The people who control the admissions, are they white?
Again, you're not saying anything I'm not saying. Okay, I already said that all of this that we're exposing was not about singling out just black immigrants and saying take what they have and give it to us. That's not what we've said. That's not what we've ever said. Okay, that's not what I'm saying now. What I'm saying is if the government is doing this, which we do know that the government and very wealthy corporations, white America, is doing and has been doing.
Right.
Okay.
It's going to continue.
Understand that they have to have a willing participant to continue doing it.
Right. So
You don't ever hear African and Caribbean people say, "Hey, wait a minute, and it's only a small percent of black people here, and I'm realizing that it's only 1 or 2 people here that are actual foundational black ADOS American people here." That never clicks with them to say something doesn't add up here. You don't see them going out, okay, on behalf of us saying anything like, "Oh, this needs to change. You know, we're all black people. We all deserve an education." You don't see that happening. But understand that these are things that ADOS did. American immigrants were allowed in, and at the numbers that they were allowed in, because ADOS fought for that in this country.
I agree.
So understand, okay, that's what I'm saying. We fought for that, for them to be able to come here and to obtain an education and have a better life. But we never get that reciprocated. You never see African and Caribbean people say, "Wait a minute, you know what? These people have been here for over 400 years. Look at what's going on with them." They don't pay attention to that. It's all about them. They get theirs. They either stay here and send money back to their country,
Now, Nikki,
or
I got it.
eventually
Nikki, let me
go
interject.
back to their country.
We keep focusing on Harvard and Yale. We have like
No,
over.
you're focusing on that. I've said a lot. You keep focusing on that.
Harvard. You brought up Harvard and Yale. I didn't bring up Harvard and Yale. You brought up, but anyway.
I said,
Okay, you brought up Harvard and Yale when we have over.
I brought up. I said
when we have
Ivy League.
Okay, Ivy League. I'm sorry, Ivy League. I'm sorry, Harvard, Yale, Ivy League schools. I'm sorry. When we have over 50 HBCUs.
Again, if you look at just across the board, that's what I'm saying. Look at the data. Look at the data. Stop making assumptions based on what you hear. You might hear even what you hear me saying. Look at the data. The data proves all of this stuff. And that's the bottom line. If people would just look at the data, then they would all have a full understanding.
Right, and basically,
Okay, they would
and basically,
listen. For a matter of fact, let me give you an example.
okay.
Today, Amber Guyger was found guilty, right?
Right.
I had people on Twitter who are self-identifying ADOS, and they were getting upset with me because I was very invested in the case, okay? And they were saying, well, let them, meaning Black immigrants, because he was a Black immigrant, let them worry about this. We need to focus on the business of ADOS. Understand that I personally may have a personal connection to this case because, like I said, my stepfather was St. Lucian. I lived in St. Lucia. And I was raised by an immigrant from Haiti. Understand that I had to explain to them because they're so focused on ADOS that they're not understanding the big picture. And that's what I want people to see is the big picture. Okay, when Trayvon Martin, because I said if they allow this woman to walk, that's another George Zimmerman. What are we willing to do? Because they're going to go out and live their best lives while Trayvon and Botham are dead, right? There were ADOS people that attacked me for that because they want me to focus on ADOS and, you know, those are immigrants. And how dare I compare him to Trayvon Martin? Understand that it was a bigger picture here. Outside of my personal attachment to this case and the fact that I also live in Dallas, but there was a personal attachment to. Besides that, the fact is, this judge allowed for a stand your ground law to be applied by the defense. Understand that if this woman were to be found not guilty, that would set a precedent. That precedent would then allow these rogue, white supremacist, racist ass cops to just walk into anybody's home at any time, Black people specifically, because we know they kill us at a much higher rate, and murder us for nothing while we're sitting in our underwear eating ice cream, watching TV, having done nothing. So understand that it was a bigger picture at hand. Okay? We need to stand up for situations like that, regardless whether they were immigrant or non-immigrant. They are Black. They look like us. That woman, the female, didn't know he was from St. Lucia when she banged on his door, went in and shot and killed him. He was a Black man.
Okay.
So understand that.
Okay.
That is where we have to come from. But
Okay.
Understand that
Nikki,
immigrants,
Nikki,
most immigrants.
let me talk now, Nikki. You've been talking. Let me talk now. So you keep
Sure.
bringing up ADOS and this data. So this, and correct me if I'm wrong. So ADOS is going to get the data, present it. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. Present it to the United States government. Say, hey, there's a clear difference between ADOS and the immigrant. And then what's the end game for that?
Well, that's what we're doing. This is a grassroots movement. First, we're only in the first stages. This has only been going on for less than 2 years. Let's understand that. Whereas Pan-Africanist movement has been going on for decades, right? What is In Cobra?
I disagree. You had In Cobra, you had Claude Anderson. This isn't new.
What? Okay. What? Okay. We've been doing this for less than 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
The only reason, and please be honest, after all these decades of In Cobra, and again, I respect individual people within these groups, okay? But understand, for decades, these people have been here. It's only since ADOS came on the scene that we actually have actual presidential candidates, potential presidential or presidents actually speaking on national debate stage about reparations. Okay? Understand that. And if you're honest with yourself, you know that's true. So we're in the beginning stages. What would have been nice?
So you don't have to keep going.
What would have been nice was these groups.
I just asked a question. I just asked a question. You present the data, then what's the end game? That's all.
Again, we're in the beginning stages. It's a grassroots movement.
So
The
there's
end
no
game is potentially, hopefully, that we do get reparations. But understand that we're not only asking for reparations for ADOS lineage. Understand that we're also demanding a Black agenda that would encompass all Black people in this country. So it's not just reparations. That's another thing. People stuck on this reparations thing, and they want to call ADOS trash because with reparations they wouldn't be given any money, any compensation. But again, they always seem to omit that we're also demanding a Black agenda, which will encompass all Black people in this country, the treatment of all Black people in this country. So people are picking and choosing, okay, what they want to hear, and some of them are actually interpreting it in a whole different way than it,
Yeah,
than
but
it
I mean,
said.
but the thing is, you don't have to be ADOS to demand people have been talking about a Black agenda prior to ADOS. I mean, that was being talked about this past election before ADOS came on the scene. Basically, we're holding our vote from Hillary and Donald Trump until there's a Black agenda. So that's been discussed.
Okay. And what was the result from that?
People didn't vote.
And what was the result from that?
I mean, people didn't vote.
All right. So what was your end game?
My end game is I'm building on.
No, I'm saying no, not you. I'm saying you just said that this happened before ADOS came on the scene,
Right.
and y'all held y'all vote.
Right.
And then what was the end game though? What was the end game for that? Holding your vote.
That was the ink. It really wasn't an end game. It's just a Black agenda. Like
Exactly.
we're not
Right.
gonna.
Exactly.
But
you
this
just
is
asked
before ADOS. That's what I'm
You
saying.
just asked me the same question. I'm
ADOS
supposed to have an answer.
credit for demanding a Black agenda. Like this is prior to ADOS.
But again, who said anything about it? Who knew anything about that? Come on, let's be real.
People been talking about it.
Real.
People been talking about a Black agenda prior to ADOS came on the scene.
Put this on the national debate stage. Who is coming at these politicians next, left and right? Who's doing it? That's what I'm trying to say. You asked me for an end game, but you said this was done before ADOS. What was your end game when y'all decided not to vote? What was your end game? You don't have an answer for that.
No, the same
because it's a movement. It's a movement. It's continuously moving. It's continuously gaining more knowledge, more ideas, more things to propel it forward. The end game, of course, is what we want. Is one, reparations paid because it's been owed. Okay. Two, we want a Black agenda that encompasses all the things that negatively affect Black people in this country. That comes down to mass incarceration.
Okay,
and
Pretty Nikki, listen, Pretty Nikki, I agree with all of that, but my question is, what does the African immigrant playing in a movie role controlled by white studios have to do with any of that?
Again, like I said, these are things that we're seeing, just like the government has done things in the past that they have propelled certain people forward and held us back on purpose. That is what we are showing, and that is a part of it. And the people that are being chosen for this are people who have no blood paid into the lineage, and there are people here that do. That role should have been considered for that role. And the people that are being chosen, these are not people who are Pan-Africanists. Okay, these aren't people who are Pan-African.
Oh my God. Okay.
People,
Nikki, name the Black actor in Hollywood. No, Nikki, name the ADOS actor in Hollywood right now that's a Pan-Africanist.
There are plenty, but let me finish. What I'm telling you is, what I'm showing you is, these are people. The woman Cynthia Erivo who played Harriet Tubman in the movie. This is a woman who has been known to say some of the most disgusting things about American Black people. And then you expect us to support that? I'm asking, would you support that? When someone is sitting there constantly, it's not one, it's not
I don't support it, but at the end of the day, I don't support it, but at the end of the day, it's a white-owned studio who is cutting the check and making the final decision.
Right. And if they don't make any money, then they might start making different decisions, won't they?
As far as who's gonna play Harriet Tubman? No. Okay, so here we go. Pretty Nikki.
If we continue to support things that we know, okay, are going against ADOS, then they will continue to do it. We have to put our foot down everywhere that we possibly can to let them know we're not playing. We're not playing. And when, like I said, Black immigrants, and I'm not saying all, because that's not the case. Like I said, we have really great allies, and I personally know and love and am loved by many Black immigrants. But at some point, when are they going to be held to the fire?
Okay, no. Okay. Nikki. When are you guys going to rise up and go directly to these white studios who are making these decisions? That's my question.
See, you're getting stuck on that. I'm trying to tell you as a whole. This is what I called in to say, because that's what I said in the chat. You have continuously, the onus is being put on ADOS, okay, for this Pan-Africanist ideal, okay? Understand, people getting online telling ADOS people that we need to just go to Africa as if that's the end all be all to solve our problems. I find that to be disingenuous. I find it to be just horrible for people to do that.
I didn't say yeah,
listen, you give platforms to people who say that too.
Okay. The same way I give a platform to you. Same way I'm giving my platform to you.
Right, but I'm just saying, but you give platforms to people who say things like that. And you have said it yourself, that we need to just
need to ask the class, absolutely. Because again, okay, here we go. The data. Let's talk about the data.
Us while we're here. What has Africa done for us while we've been here for over 400 years?
Can we talk about the data?
No. What has Africa done for us
now? I thought you want to talk about the data. Let's talk about the data.
Yes.
Can we talk about the data?
No.
Why don't you want to talk about the data now? All right, let's talk about the data.
I already talked about the data.
Okay, so let's talk about the data. Why don't you want to talk about the data?
Everyone, I've been talking about the data.
Okay, so let me interject some more data.
What has Simple. Africa done for us in the over 400 years that we've been in this country that they partly were responsible for? What have they done for us since we've been here? Crickets.
What?
Crickets.
Okay, the data.
What have they done for ADOS? We are their brother and sister, right?
Right.
They know exactly what happened to us because some of them were a part of what happened to us.
Okay.
What have they done for us since we've been here?
Okay, so I hear all this, but where is this?
And now what have they done? Since you can't answer that, what have they done since droves of them have been coming here? What have they done?
Exactly. The truth comes out now. So again, on a personal level, I've built great.
What is the state of the 54 countries in Africa? What's the current state of the 54 countries? Because people talk about Africa like it's a country.
Rwanda's doing great. Rwanda's doing great. Ghana's a great place. Let's see, Tanzania, Kenya. I mean, there are a ton of countries that are doing great.
You know what? It's funny that people who say that Black people here need to get away from Christianity are telling Black people here to go to Ghana, which is white Jesus land. Okay,
I agree. It is. I agree. I'm not disagreeing with that.
Understand that right now, a lot of the same nonsense that's going on here is going on in Africa. But you know what's worse? What's worse is that they are the majority in that country.
Okay.
But yet they come here and they demean ADOS people when we've never been the majority here, and we stay here. We don't tuck tail and leave and just go. We don't do that. We stay here and we fight. Our fights may be small.
Fight how. Here we go. How are you fighting?
Be big here and there, but throughout our history in this country, ADOS has fought, and we fought being the minority. So for people to come to this country and say that we don't do nothing, we're lazy, somehow we're innately just unintelligent, or just don't have a clue. And again, that goes for some people. We're not gonna say all Black people are all knowing, but understand, for the most part, there has been a constant. You can look at every decade of us being here. You can see that we have tried to fight and fight and fight, and that's with us being the less of those that are here. So for people to come from a country that they are the majority, and they are still being colonized in 2019, they are still having their resources stolen in 2019, to come here and then to question what we're doing, or why we're doing it, and why we're not including them, like it's preposterous. It's ridiculous. Like it really is.
Okay,
I need
Pretty Nikki.
I need for the onus.
Nikki, this is my question, Nikki.
I
Okay,
need the onus to be placed on everyone.
This is my question. Okay, here's the data. Let me talk. All right, I'll let you ramble. Give me 2 minutes. Number one, the data shows.
You're being very disrespectful.
The data is America's on a decline, Africa isn't. That's number one. Number two, do you think that if ADOS stays here, that white people are going to change?
Listen, it doesn't matter about whether they change. It's about whether we change. It's about whether we change. They are innately who they are. They are that.
Mm-hmm.
So we change. But understand that doesn't mean that change can't still occur. Now, again, you saying, or people in general, just telling people to go to Africa. Right?
I didn't say you gotta pack up your bag. I'm just saying, like,
what's the end game? What's the end game? Like, people are saying these things, but they're asking us the end game. Well, what is the end game of what you're saying?
I just told you the end game. I just told you the end game. America is on a decline. Africa is rising. I mean, that should tell you the end game right there.
Okay, but what I'm saying is, how are people getting there? Like, the things that people are saying are just so like, oh, it's so just go, just pack up and leave, take your whole family. How are we getting there? What are we gonna do when we get there?
What are you doing here?
These are real life questions. These are real life questions.
What are you doing here? What are you doing?
What do you mean? What are we doing here?
Yeah. What are we
doing here?
What do you do for a living?
I'm actually disabled.
Listen,
I'm a makeup artist,
okay,
and I've been disabled for some time, and I was signed out of work last year.
I got good news for you. Your disability check will stretch a whole lot further in Africa.
Listen,
well,
that may be true. That may be true.
See, but you know it's
true.
You know it's true.
No, that may be true. That may be true. But my whole entire family is here. So you're telling me to leave my family?
Okay, listen. This whole family thing. Like,
listen, let me tell you something. Out of all the people you probably speak to, ADOS people, I'm the one. I'm that bitch. I'm the one. I can go to Africa. I can go to Jamaica. Because I've been to these places. I've lived in the Caribbean. I can manage. Even though I live in an apartment, I have my plants growing. I grow my own vegetables and things. I know how to, even though I can't swim, I know how to fish. I know how to survive in a third world country. Matter of fact, my whole diet is already based on Caribbean food. So I'm going to make it. I would make it. I can give up McDonald's and all the stuff that the United States offer, all the modernization that is. I could go live in, and I'm not saying Africa, all the countries in Africa are like that. I'm just saying that I could live in that type of situation and survive and do well and actually be happy. But understand, my family is here, has been here.
Been where?
They may not. In the United States, they may not know how to live in a
but
country.
But part of your family was in Puerto Rico.
Listen,
you said Puerto Rico and St. Lucia, right?
No, I said, listen, I was born, I don't know how many times I was born here. My mother's family, all her mother and father's side of the family, all born here, dated back to slavery. My father's side of the family, who I did not grow up with consistently, is from Puerto Rico.
Okay.
All of my family, all of my mom, my parents, my grandparents on my mother's side, they're all passed. The only elder I have remaining as far as like a grandparent is my father's mother, and she's in her late 80s. But understand, I have my children. I have a daughter who has children.
Mhm.
She's married with 2 children. I have a son in college. I could easily pick up and go to Africa, to one of the Caribbean countries, whatever. I'll make it. I'll make it, and I'll be happy. But my family is here. My family is here. I'm not leaving my family. And my family, now my immediate family, they may be able to because I've raised them a certain way. But I'm talking about my cousins. I'm talking about just my family. I'm supposed to just pick up and leave. See, that's the mentality that I don't agree with. I'm not gonna just because I can do it, pick up and leave, and then leave everyone else to suffer. I'd rather stay here, fight, and
Say
make sure
that again. Say that again. Leave everybody else to what?
to suffer.
Okay.
To suffer because they're gonna
America.
still
Okay.
they're gonna still have to fight. The more of us that
Fight.
leave, the less
Suffer.
of us are
Okay.
here, and they're gonna still have to suffer. So that's what I'm saying.
Fight.
It doesn't make sense. If you really love all Black people,
Mm-hmm.
if you really love all Black people, that would not be the message that you would be distributing. Because at the end of the day, not everyone is equipped to do what you're telling them to do.
Mm-hmm.
And it's really disingenuous and to say that you love all Black people, but you're telling them to just pick up and leave and just forget about whoever else is here who can't do that. So we that's what I'm trying to say. It's like Pan-Africanism, the ideology of it is wonderful. It's
Okay, so
beautiful.
but this is my Nikki. This is my,
But if you can't,
let me ask a question. I'm just asking one question. So immigrants, they leave all the time to come to America and leave their families, but you're saying that for some reason Black you can't do it if they're suffering here in
yeah,
America.
you know what they do? You know what they do? They come here and they leave their families. Some of them leave them there to suffer. They come here and they live a fabulous lifestyle and they leave their family to suffer. Okay? Some of them, they are here, they're living a fabulous lifestyle, but they're also sending American money back to their country, their native country. So their families are doing better. But they're doing better than there are less people doing better. Okay, so they're doing that. But get this, they're familiar with that country. They're familiar with this country now.
Mm-hmm.
They have familiarity in both countries because generations of them have come here. Now at this point, it's been at least 2 generations, some 3. Okay, they have familiarity with this country and with their native home.
Right. So have you
We
ever
don't have that.
have you ever considered being Have you ever considered being bicontinental? That sounds weird, but have you ever?
No, no, I've never. You know why? Because
Why?
I have, like I said, I have a son in college.
Okay.
Okay, and I have a daughter who has 2 children. I have 2 small grandchildren.
Mm-hmm.
I want to see them grow. I want to be there, like my
I said,
mother was there for my kids.
I said bicontinental. Like back.
No, because I need to be like my mother was, the home base. So if anything happens, if anything goes wrong, they always have a home base. I could never leave my family like that. I could never do that. That's me personally. I'm not saying anybody else. That's me personally. I personally cannot do that. I was raised as an only child. I do have 2 siblings that are from my dad's side. I met them as adults. But we don't have that sisterly bond. I was raised an only child. And because of that, I will never leave my children, my grandchildren, for any extended length of time. I have to be the home base for them. I am mama. I'm the one who it's me who cooks the Thanksgiving dinners now that my mother's passed.
Thanksgiving. Okay.
It's me. I'm just saying these are American holidays. And people can say whatever they want to say about them, but it's generational that this is something that we say. It's that time of the year when we know family is what it will come from all over to sit and share a meal with us.
This is my last question. I gotta go. So the end game is reparations and a black agenda. So again, my question is, what does okay? Here we go. Here's another one. Black Panther. Yvette Carnell was furious that non-ADOS were getting roles in Black Panther. What are your thoughts on that? What does that have to do with the ADOS agenda, Black Panther?
Actually, no. I watched that show. She wasn't upset about that.
Oh no,
she was upset. No, she was upset about the way that they portrayed Killmonger. And to be honest with you, I didn't see the movie until so I wasn't a part of all that. But I can tell you that watching her show, she was upset with the way Killmonger was portrayed. That people were treating him like he was the villain, that something was wrong with him when he was the one. And she compared it to, I have the show, I saved it. And she compared it to him, Killmonger, representing ADOS, being left behind in the hood, in the ghetto.
Right, okay, but still,
knowing.
Outside of that, she was upset because the girl that played Black Panther's sister, Zuri, was that her name? That did all the suits. She was up. Oh, she's not ADOS. She from the islands. She was getting on Lupita. Like, she was upset that these immigrants had roles in Black Panther.
Listen,
I'm gonna let it go. All I'm saying is, look,
you can send it to me. Send me the video you're talking about, because I know the videos I've seen her where she discussed Black Panther. It was based on the fact that Killmonger was being made to seem like the villain, like the bad guy, when she said he really actually represents ADOS. And
you're right. He does, because guess what? Guess who? At the beginning, and this might be an end game. At the beginning, Killmonger was partnering with who? White Zaddy to get the vibranium, and then he was going to take the vibranium. I don't know
who was using who. Who was using who?
But that's not the end game of ADOS.
I'm just saying, who was using who? But here's the thing. But then Black Panther wanted to keep they wanted to keep Killmonger locked out of it, but then they welcomed a white CIA agent in like he was family. So what's your point?
No, the point is, I mean, again,
Killmonger was using that.
I actually like Killmonger, but the thing is,
that white man.
Killmonger wasn't trying to build anything. I mean, what was Kill? He was.
What are you talking about?
This is going nowhere.
His whole plan.
This is going nowhere.
His whole plan was to take the vibranium so that all the people could have some of the resources. That's his whole plan, was so that everyone could have resources instead of them holding and hoarding the resources, and then letting white people come in and use them in their resources, but not giving it to Killmonger, people like Killmonger, which is ADOS. That's the whole point. That was the whole point of the movie.
No, but Killmonger
used that white man to get what he had to, so he could get to where he needs to get, and then he killed him. He didn't need him. He wasn't going to give him nothing.
So ADOS is going to use the white zaddy, get on his lap, and then get rid of white zaddy. Is that what you're saying? Is that the end game? I'm asking, is that the end game?
You can say that. You can say that we are on white zaddy's lap, but who really is on white zaddy's lap? Do you really pay attention? Do you really pay attention to what many African immigrants say? Do you watch how they move? Do you pay attention to what's going on in these countries? Who has a white zaddy?
Right,
who really has a white zaddy?
But this is going back to, like I said,
who has a white zaddy?
Is jockeying for position on white zaddy's lap. So we just.
No, I'm not jockeying for nothing on the white. I want his pockets. I don't give a fuck about his lap.
You want his
pockets? I want the pockets. I don't give a damn about a lap. See, that's the difference. You have people out here that these people, come on, you mean to tell me in 2019 these countries in Africa are still going through the same colonization? They are paying the French, in debt to the French. They're in debt to this one, in debt to that one, in debt, and they constantly let these other people, Chinese, come to steal their resources. Right now, they're destroying land that was ample land for growing vegetables and things, and they're destroying it, digging for gold and digging for diamonds and digging for this and digging for that. They're doing nothing to stop it. Not to mention they're over there brutalizing these African people. You speak of Africa, one, like it's a country, and two, like nothing is going on over there that is the same or not worse than what's going on here. Like, that's crazy to me. We have to be honest. We have to be honest. Until we are all ready to be 100% honest and stop saying and stop trying to say one or the other is doing something wrong or we're not doing anything at all. Be honest about what's going on.
Okay, and Nikki, I'm gonna ask you this last question. So how do you get
why do they come here? Why do Africans come here? Why do Caribbean people come here?
Okay, so how do you get into White Zaddy's pockets?
Why?
How do you get into White Zaddy's pockets?
Listen, again, it's a movement. It's a movement.
How's this movement gonna get into White Zaddy's pockets?
It's continuously moving. Okay? And listen, we're not the only ones. And we've said that too. Listen, all these Caribbean countries, Jamaica, I believe, is one. There's some countries in Africa. They're talking about reparations. So again,
I know.
Why are we being singled out? Why are we being singled out?
Want to get your reparations, but my thing is how
because they're not asking for reparations to include ADOS people. They're asking for it for the people that are in their native country. They're not asking for it for us. So why are we being singled out? Because we're asking for reparations for us. See, these are the simple things, the simple questions that no one seems to have an answer for. Simple questions, basic simple questions. No one has an answer for. Because you don't want to answer it because you know the answer.
No. I said that reparations are owed.
Completely blow all the other nonsense that's being said out the water at the end of the day.
No. I said reparations are owed. But again, I'm trying to figure out how are you gonna. So after you get your reparations, do you think the system is going to change? That's the thing. And reparations is not going to change the system.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing. Back in 1865, did we think that the system was going to change at all? There's been change. Let's not lie to ourselves. There's been change.
No. I mean, black men still make up the majority of the prison population, or what? 13%?
Exactly.
So no.
Exactly. No. Exactly. Like I said, but there has still been change. Okay, there's still been change. Have we totally eradicated white supremacy? Of course not. But there's been change. We didn't think in 1865 or 1863 that we'd be free. Okay? Whatever free means. Okay? But it's changed. We've had change. So let's not say that there hasn't been any change. But again, that change didn't come on its own. As you call him, White Zaddy didn't just decide on it.
Yeah, but again, the change came through bloodshed.
It came from us.
It came from bloodshed.
And that's what we may have to do again. But that's what it may come to.
So you think Yvette Carnell and Tone Talk is ready to get out there and shed some blood?
You know what? They might not be, but they have definitely. I'm just saying. I don't know. I can't speak for them. I said they might
not happen. It's not gonna happen. It's not gonna happen.
Listen. They might not be. I don't know. But what I do know is they have definitely sparked a lot of people who are prepared to do that. So at the end of the day, that's what a grassroots movement does.
Sparked who? Who was sparked?
There are people that follow the ADOS movement that I have had personal conversations with, that I know
are ready to rise up. They're gonna rise up and get the reparations.
They're prepared for whatever. There are people that are. There's always been people in this country, Black, who are prepared for whatever. So, again, I don't know what you find funny about that, but
Because it's not going to happen.
it's always been,
It's not going to happen.
always
That's
been
the
that
fun.
way.
It's not going to happen. This is a hashtag
You know what?
internet movement, and we'll have meetings. But as far as rising up, it's not going to happen.
Okay. Well, some people said that this movement wouldn't last as long as it did, or that the politicians.
You know what? I'll give it 2 more years. I'll give it 2 more years. I'll give it 2 more years. It's gonna be like Black Lives Matter. It's gonna start with a lot of energy, then it's gonna die. I'll give it 2 more years. I'll give it 2 more years.
Okay, well that's your personal choice, but I believe in my people more than that.
I'll give it 2 more years. But again, we are owed a check, and I want my check, but I'm not rising up to get a check. I just be honest.
Okay, well, see, that's the thing, but that's what we know, and many times in this country it took for us to get what we demanded. So I mean, here's the thing: if I say I want it, how bad do you want it? How much would it change your life? How bad do you want it? If not in my lifetime, I'm doing this, to be honest, not for me, not for my lifetime.
Mm-hmm.
I have a 4 and a 2-year-old granddaughters.
Right.
I'm doing this for them.
Because the data is showing America's on a decline, so it's going to get better regardless of reparations for your grandkids.
Listen, if they have the money, whether I'm here or not anymore, they have the money. Trust me, I'm raising them to understand what's going on. They know where they can go, where they can leave and go to, if it comes to that.
Leave and go.
There's a plan of evacuation.
You have a. What's your plan B? Real quick, what's your plan B?
There's always a plan of evacuation.
To go where? To go where? Go where? Where's your plan B?
I'm not gonna say that out loud.
Okay, you don't have to say it out loud, but is it outside of America?
Of course it is.
Okay, stop the show. Stop the show. See, ADOS, you run. Because see, per ADOS, if you leave the fight and you don't fight in America and you go outside of America, you run because you're
no. I'm not talking about the fight. I said I would stay and fight. I'm talking about when you say decline. There are a lot of different things that America's facing. With all the flooding and the hurricanes and the earthquakes and things like that. This has been something before ADOS came about. We understand that it's been prophetic, that somewhat prophetic what could possibly happen in this country, as far as natural disasters, as far as war.
But your bones are buried here, though. Don't run. Your bones are buried here. Don't run. Per ADOS, there's no plan B. Per ADOS,
no, listen. If there's no land,
do this. Tell Ed Carnell you got a plan B outside of America.
Listen, I've already told her that, and understand something. I don't agree with everything another person says. Mm-hmm. Understand that I take what is usable knowledge, and I use that. But if there's something that I don't agree with, I don't agree with. If I already have my stance on something, then I have my stance on something. Mm-hmm. So it doesn't matter. That's why I am able to check people when they say things.
Are you going to Puerto Rico? Are you guys? Is that plan B Puerto Rico?
No, but I'm not going to say publicly what my
plan is. Do you have a Puerto Rican passport? Now, do Puerto Ricans have Puerto Rican passports or U.S. passports?
Puerto Ricans are U.S. citizens as well. Okay. It's a U.S. territory, and they're U.S. citizens. They have dual citizenship, U.S. citizenship and citizenship in Puerto Rico.
So, but is there a specific stupid question? This is a dumb question. Do Puerto Ricans have their own Puerto Rican passport? That's a stupid question.
I don't know if they have a passport. I'm telling you that, again, my grandmother came here when she was 17. That was in the 50s. So I don't have as much knowledge about Puerto Rican government and what they do and don't do.
No problem.
But what I can tell
hold on. Your grandma
tell you is they are U.S.
Your grandma could immigrate here, okay, and benefit off the bones and the struggle.
No, her lineage was enslaved there as well.
Okay. There as well. So, do you have issues with Caribbean immigrants, or is this all just African immigrants?
No, did you listen to anything I said? I was raised by a Haitian man. My first stepfather before him was St. Lucian. I lived in St. Lucia and Barbados. My lifestyle is more Caribbean. The music I listen to, the food I cook and eat, it's Caribbean because that's what I was raised with. I don't have problems with African people as a whole. I don't have a problem with Caribbean people as a whole. I don't have a problem with Black ADOS people as a whole. I have problems with the problems in those.
But
in those
my thing, you said
places.
you got a plan B to get out of here. Now, tell Yvette Carnell that you have a plan B to get out of here. And because listen,
What
because listen, I'm gonna let you talk, then I gotta go. Because whenever
okay.
the Captain Black Americans, whenever I bring up having a plan B, they say, "Oh, you running? You're not gonna fight? You're not gonna fight? You running? My bones are buried." So you just said you had a plan
Right.
B.
I'll tell you why that's said. I'll tell you why. Because as long as you give yourself an out, you won't focus and fight as hard as if you didn't have one.
But you got a plan B, so you got an out. So you ain't serious.
Let me tell you something. Serious? What are you talking about?
You
Listen,
got a plan B. That's an
sometimes
out. Plan B is an out.
listen, it's not an out. If there's nothing left here, what I'm saying, if there's nothing left here, if this breaks out in a natural disaster and California and Florida start sinking, and next thing you know, the whole United States is cracked in half by the fault line. It comes down the middle. Who's gonna stay if they can go? Like, let's. That's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about where it gets to the point where there is no life for anyone or anything. No animals, no humans. There's nothing left. If war breaks out to the point that it's a famine across the whole entire country where there's nothing left. We're talking about situations like that. But as long as we're here and we can fight and do what we've been doing in this country, then yes, we need to do that. Because this is our country. This is our country. This was our country before the Caucasians came here. This was our country. There is evidence of that. There is evidence that we were here in the Americas long before they came, long before they so-called discovered it. So this is our country. This is our land. So we need to fight for this. We need to fight for this. We have to understand. We have to really understand the real history to understand that this really is ours.
Okay, so you're saying that this is our land. So are you an indigenous Choctaw Cherokee Moor now?
No, I'm not, but I do understand that I don't buy into everything they say, but I do understand that there's some truth in what they're saying. Okay. There is some truth in what they're saying. Because see, again, even a simple lie as, oh, we came here in 1619. Well, they're not telling you about the slaves that were here in the 1500s or the 1400s. Okay. So, and even before that, we have to understand geography and the way that the continents were connected. There's proof already been shown that people from the continent of Africa were already in the Americas. It's already before it was. So it's proven. So that's what I'm talking about. I don't know about what all that other stuff they're talking about, but that I don't know. They say that there is no Native American. They are I don't know. I mean, I do have Native American blood. I do know that, but like I said, if you look at the geography, and I'm talking tens of thousands of years ago, we were here. We were here. We were here, and we spread out, and we went further north, and we were here. Okay. Some of us. I'm not saying all of us, but I'm saying the way they try to present it is that no Black person was ever in America until the transatlantic slave trade. That's not true.
Okay, so but you keep saying that the land was ours first. So are you saying that you're not an Aboriginal? You're not claiming that?
No, I'm not claiming that. I'm saying that we have been in the Americas.
Mm-hmm. Who's we?
And there's a history of Black people, Aboriginal people. We are Aboriginal. We're Aboriginal no matter where you go on the globe. Mm-hmm. We are the original man. Mm-hmm. So, it shows that. It shows that. It shows, because I've also been studying my genetics, and it shows, it actually maps out the migration. So I'm talking about tens of thousands of years. So it's all recorded. It's all recorded in our DNA, but there's also history actually recorded that shows that we were here, things that have been found in the Americas. So it already shows that we're here. But again, that has nothing to do with the Moors and all. I don't subscribe to
No,
all
no,
of
you
that
haven't brought it up. That's
other.
why I brought it up. But anyway, I got to get, guys, I got to get out of here. Everyone, thank you for joining. I know the topic went a completely different direction, but everyone, thank you so much for joining us. Make sure you go to search for Uhuru. I'm sorry, dynastymirror.com. Just go to dynastymirror.com, like, share, and subscribe. Until next time, family, Dynasty Mirror, search for Uhuru, please.
Bye-bye.